Every hour I slept, my sword bones would crack another inch. The sect master got so mad he smashed the table at the assembly. He threatened to kick me out of the sect. But did I hold back? No, I acted out even more. I just moved straight to the ancestral graves in the back mountain and slept there for 3 full years, until every sword bone in me was shattered. I became a total cripple. Everyone in the sect thought I was hopeless. Even my cold senior sister, who promised to dual cultivate with me, looked down on me. She cut all ties with me. But I actually laughed out loud in my sleep, because I finally met the system's activation requirement. I was born a natural martial prodigy, but unexpectedly awakened the everlasting dream system. And to activate it, I had to sleep and break my bones, reform my mortal body. So, I fell from top inner disciple to a glorified poop scooper in the spirit beast yard. Now I just teach turtles how to slack off, or organize singing competitions for spirit pearls. New disciples in the sect all use me as the ultimate bad example. They mock me, say I'm hopeless trash. But what they don't know is, during those 10 years of sleeping to awaken the system, I already slayed gods and demons in my dreams. I even broke heaven's leg in my dreams. And today, I just mastered the supreme technique in my dreams. I was about to wake up when my usually fake and sanctimonious junior, Suchacha, suddenly right in front of everyone, framed me for stealing her personal scented pouch. Next second, my broken straw hut's door was violently kicked to pieces. More than a dozen Tiandao sect law enforcers all barged in, looking angry as hell. The way they looked at me was pure contempt. Everyone started cursing the former genius, saying I'd stooped to such disgusting stuff. According to the new sect rules, my limbs should be crippled. The rules in the sect are harsh. If a female disciple is assaulted, the discipline hall will always protect her. And once the truth is found out, she get a supreme marrow cleansing pill and 100 top-grade spirit stones as compensation. If it's really serious, the victim can even join the inner sect without testing and get taken in as a closed-door disciple by the Grand Elder to learn top-secret techniques. As Su Chacha's #1, blind crazy fan Zhao Tianba,
He rushed at me like a mad dog.
grabbed my tattered collar. Lin Fan, you jerk. Was it you? Did you harass junior sister Chacha? I just left my ancient dream world, and my eyes still looked relaxed and lazy, staring into Zhao Tianba's fiery glare. I just yawned casually and waved my hand lazily. That couldn't care less attitude instantly made Zhao Tianba's blood pressure spike. He was seeing red. He suddenly drew his thunderblade from his waist, ready to chop my head off then and there. But another, slightly saner disciple yanked him back. Stop it, Zhao. Calm down, Lin Fan might be a cripple now. But he was the sect's #1 genius. Even if he committed a capital crime, the punishment elder should handle it. If you kill him right now, there'll be no proof left. And junior sister Chacha's name can't be cleared. Hearing that, Su Chacha, hiding at the back, immediately started his show. He bawled like a weeping beauty and started fake crying with a trembling voice. Boo-hoo, I know. Senior brother Lin Fan did a lot for our sect. If because of me, an insignificant outer disciple, everyone here has to be called traitors for killing a fellow disciple, I'd rather swallow this shame and just die here instead. Slam my head right now, so you guys don't have to feel bad. As soon as he said that, Zhao Tianba totally lost it. He shoved off the other disciples holding him back and summoned his thunderblade again, turning into a bolt of deadly lightning, and slashed right at my face. Stop right there. And just at that critical moment, the discipline Elder Thunderstorm landed like a meteor. His terrifying aura swept the whole place, forcing Zhao Tianba to a halt. Elder Wang Lei's eagle eyes swept the crowd coldly. Zhao Tianba, how dare you act without permission? If Lin Fan really betrayed the sect and defiled Su Chacha, I'll break his spine myself and execute him on the spot, then hang his corpse up at the city gate. Next, Elder Thunderstorm's gaze slowly landed on Su Chacha, who was trembling and red-eyed. Did Lin Fan really assault you? Su Chacha saw this, and his knees instantly buckled, so he dropped to the ground with a thud. His eyes were red, and he started sobbing with this sad, certain voice. Please see the truth, Elder Thunderstorm. Just half an hour ago, I came to the cemetery out of kindness to bring senior brother Lin his interest for the month. I just wanted to leave some snacks and go, but unexpectedly, senior brother Lin, half asleep, suddenly acted like a mad beast and pinned me down in the mud pit. I fought for my life and barely managed to escape. Elder Thunderstorm, please help me and punish this beast. He sounded so pitiful and teary that even the male disciples were fuming. But Elder Thunderstorm narrowed his eyes, looking Suchacha up and down. Words mean nothing. Do you have any real evidence? Lin Fan's body right now is weaker than a regular person. Could he really overpower a female cultivator with powers? Something's way off here. But Suchacha seemed prepared and pointed right at my pile of grass where I sleep. Elder, look, there's the proof. Everyone followed his finger and saw that in my regular sleeping spot, a patch of bright pink was sticking out. It was actually a pouch with mandarin ducks embroidered on it. A pink-scented sachet. The moment everyone saw the pouch, the whole crowd gasped in shock. Elder Thunderstorm, who had some doubts, froze when he saw this personal item and went ice-cold inside. Now he even wondered if Lin Fan was not just a cripple, but an actual pervert. As for Zhao Tianba, he saw his beloved goddess's personal item lying right there in Lin Fan's filthy bedding. Jealousy and rage twisted his face.
He raised his thunderblade again,
Roaring like a wild animal, ready to chop me in half for good. The blade flashed, splitting the air, swinging straight at my skull. But just as I woke up from my long dream, facing that downward slash, I grabbed my old bamboo pillow I'd been using for 3 years. It was just an old bamboo tube full of wormholes. But in the instant I swung it, a terrifying dream power rushed onto the pillow, coating it with an invisible force, even though my block looked light. But it burst out with a destructive force like stars exploding. A sharp, crisp, cracking sound echoed through the sky. The prized low-grade treasure blade in Zhao Tianba's hand shattered like fragile ice. The moment it touched the bamboo pillow, it instantly blew apart into dust. The terrifying backlash shot up the hilt, like a rampaging beast crashing into Zhao Tianba's body. He didn't even have time to scream.
he spat a mouthful of blood with bits of organ toward the sky.
His whole body flew off like a fired cannonball. He crashed through 3 ancient trees before stopping. The whole scene went silent. Everyone gasped in shock. All eyes stared at me with faces like they'd seen a ghost. Everyone was locked on the shabby bamboo pillow in my hand. Is this some kind of ancient magical relic? Or maybe some hidden treasure from a TV show? Maybe some mighty expert slipped him a supreme artifact? Even Elder Quanglai, who'd seen everything, was visibly shaken.
His face was priceless right now.
He suddenly moved, instantly appearing in front of me. He snatched the bamboo pillow out of my hands. No matter how hard he scanned it with his divine sense, even using the sect's secret methods, he kept coming up with the same answer. It's just a worthless piece of old bamboo. Why are you all up at the crack of dawn, throwing a party on my grave? While everyone was still dumbfounded, a lazy, slightly mocking voice broke the silence. I, who was just stretching a moment ago, was now calmly standing up. I brushed some dry grass off my clothes. My throat felt a bit dry, so I grabbed the watering ladle from the ground and gulped down a couple sips of cold water. Ding, congrats, host, you drank a cup of spring water. Dream realm conversion rate has increased by 1%. Ding, congrats, host, you've survived an endless ancient dream. Whole body shattered. Your sword bones have been fully remade into the eternal dream god body. Ding, congrats, your power has been unsealed. Current realm leveled up to the peak of the breaking taboo stage. Hearing the long-lost system prompt in my mind, I closed my eyes in satisfaction. Elder Quanglai now wore an icy scowl. He stared straight at me and shouted fiercely, Lin Fan, do you even realize grabbing a female disciple's private item in Tiandao sect, and with evil intentions, how serious a crime that is? I couldn't help but let out a dry laugh. My gaze pierced through the crowd, locking onto Suchacha, still fake crying. I easily caught the deep malice and smugness hiding in the depths of her eyes. This woman clearly wants to step over my corpse to climb up. I started walking forward step by step. My footsteps sounded extra clear in the quiet morning. You just accused me of assaulting you? Looking down at her, I gave her a cold, mocking smile. Why don't you tell everyone how a cripple like me, with shattered bones, managed to pin you in the mud? Which finger did I use to choke you? How did I snatch your sachet? Suchacha's face turned bright red in an instant, but she still refused to admit anything. Brother Pingfan, normally you live on painkillers. How do we know you didn't take something wild and suddenly lose it and knock me down? Not only did you tear my clothes, you stole my sachet too, and hid it under your blanket. The evidence is all here. You still want to deny it? Getting more worked up, Suchacha grabbed her pink sachet and raised it high over her head. Right now, no matter how you try to talk your way out, it won't work. Looking at the sachet in her hand, reeking of cheap perfume, my gaze was ice cold. Just one cheap sachet you tossed into my haystack on purpose. And you're trying to pin this whole mess on me. Doesn't this logic insult everyone's intelligence here just a bit too much? Seeing this, Suchacha quickly went for the ultimate move. He dropped to his knees and threw himself into the mud, sobbing so hard he could barely breathe. Brother Lin, I'm just an innocent girl. No matter how ruthless I am, I never ruin my own reputation like this. I know you're all twisted inside from being crippled. But why ruin my whole life too? Don't you feel the slightest bit of guilt when you wake from your dreams at night? While he spoke, big tears like pearls kept streaming down, relentlessly falling, looking so miserable, like life was too unfair, like she could bite her tongue and die right here. All at once, everyone around was filled with pity. Lin Fan, if you're a man, admit what you did. Exactly, you're already ruined. No need to be a psycho about it. If you kneel now and apologize to junior sister Chasha for the sake of our past, we'll just break your legs and toss you off the mountain. But if you keep lying, no one can save you today. We'll chop you to pieces. Those low-level disciples who used to not even look at me now stood on the moral high ground, pointing fingers like crazy at me, kicking me while I'm down. Even Elder Quanglai couldn't help frowning, caught in a dilemma. On one side stood the once brilliant, but now strangely fallen genius, Lin Fan. On the other was the pampered Su family heiress, crying like she was about to faint, Suchacha. If this gets handled badly, it'll definitely shake up the whole sect. Just then, Zhao Tiamba, barely breathing after his injuries, scrambled out of the rubble, clutching his caved-in chest. His red eyes glared at me as he roared, Lin Fan, you beast! You not only defiled Sister Chasha, you even used sorcery to destroy my Thunderblade. That was a mid-level treasure my master gave me. Even if I have to blow up my own core today, I'm taking you down with me. He felt his dignity was crushed more than ever. His rage completely consumed his sanity, but I didn't even glance at him. All I did was rub my neck, step over broken grass, and slowly walk up to Suchacha. Looking down at her, I asked as casually as the weather, last chance, are you sure I assaulted you? She didn't even finish her answer before I raised my right hand and landed a hard, decisive slap. Smack. The deafening crack sounded like lightning out of nowhere. Suchacha's frail-looking body flew like a rag doll hit by a speeding train. Tumbling through the air, she spun 360 in midair, bleeding all the way, with a few broken teeth flying out, smashed straight through the outer stone wall of the rear mountain cemetery. One side of her once pretty face, at a visible speed, swelled up like a puffy steamed bun. Even her jaw let out a teeth-grinding cracking sound. The whole place fell silent again. The disciples who were just shouting on both sides now all looked like roosters with their necks grabbed, their eyes wide open, unable to utter a single word. You damn loser. How dare you hit me? Suchacha had been spoiled since childhood. Even after entering the Heavenly Tao sect, those inner disciples and elders had to show some respect to the Su family behind him. He just couldn't accept it, that he was beaten by a cripple. Into such a pig-headed mess in public, he completely dropped his fake fragile act. Like a full-on crazy woman, hair all disheveled, screaming and charging at me wildly. I watched his pathetic display with a blank expression, lifted my right leg slightly, aimed at his lower abdomen, and casually kicked out. Bang! A heavy dull thud. Suchacha flew back 10 times faster than he came, smashing violently backward. He snapped 6 thick marble pillars as wide as 2 men. Finally, he was embedded deep into the cliff of the rear mountain. All his ribs broken, internal organs severely displaced. If his organs were severely displaced, if it weren't for the top-tier heart-protecting armor given by the Su family ancestor, with that one kick, he'd already be a cold corpse. Suchacha stuck in the cliff,
His mouth.
constantly spilling blood mixed with organ fragments. Yet he still cursed viciously through his gaping lips. You little beast, the Su family will never let you off. I didn't stop walking. With a single step, I instantly appeared in front of him, without any nonsense. I backhanded him with another heavy slap, hard across his other intact cheek. Slap, that one blow landed. Suchacha didn't even have time to scream. As he spun wildly in the cliff wall, 12 times, the severe concussion and ringing ears made him roll his eyes and pass out cold. That face, once somewhat handsome, was now so swollen even his own mother wouldn't recognize him. This scene was just too ridiculous. So much so that some disciples, despite being scared, couldn't help but want to burst out laughing. Suchacha had only been in the sect a short time. Burst out laughing. Suchacha had only been in the sect a short time. His current cultivation barely at the initial foundation building stage. Before me, who had already remolded my divine body and reached the peak of the break precept realm, he was less than an ant. You reckless fool, you're just asking to die. Zhao Tianba, the #1 simp, seeing his beloved goddess beaten to such a mess, completely lost his mind. His eyes were bloodshot, and he recklessly tried to rush in and fight. Elder Quanglai's brows knitted into a tight knot, clearly sensing the weirdness in me. Instantly flashed over, blocking the irrational Zhao Tianba, and shouted sternly before things are cleared up. No one is allowed to make a move. Uncle Huang Lei, get out of my way. Zhao Tianba was completely mad. If I don't tear this cripple to pieces today, my Dao heart will shatter completely, and I'll never take another step forward in my life. He had completely lost respect for his elders. Only one thought filled his mind: kill Lin Fan, to avenge his precious weapon and junior sister Cha-Cha. Elder Huang Lei, upon hearing the words Dao heart shatter, his face turned deadly pale in an instant. Cultivators fear inner demons the most. Just because of this trivial matter, if it damages the mental strength of the sect's genius, the loss would be huge. Now things have come to a dead end. Either Lin Fan dies, or Lin Fan kneels on the ground for Zhao Tianba to step on his face. If not, once the inner demon takes root, Zhao Tianba is completely ruined for life. After weighing the pros and cons quickly, Elder Quanglai silently closed his eyes and slowly stepped aside. After all, Zhao Tianba is the favorite disciple of the Grand Elder. If he's really ruined, when the Grand Elder comes out, he'll definitely vent his anger on me. As for Lin Fan, a discarded kid who's been crippled for 3 years, it doesn't matter if he dies. Seeing the Elder give silent approval, the killing aura around Zhao Tianba exploded to the max. He snatched a longsword from a scared, stunned disciple nearby, grabbed a longsword. With a whistle and fierce sword energy, he thrust straight at my throat. Facing this fatal strike, I didn't even bother to glance at him. I casually pulled up from a nearby grave, pulled up a broken incense stick from the grave. In that instant, my eternal dream divine physique roared to life inside me. Brilliant, blinding golden light erupted like a volcano that slept for thousands of years. A force connecting heaven and earth, causing a terrifying sword aura that could tear the sky, like a primeval dragon, roaring wildly in thunderous clouds. It charged right at Zhao Tianba, freezing his body midair. His bloodshot eyes now only showed the purest fear imaginable. He stared desperately at the unstoppable sword energy cutting through the sky, his voice shaking, nearly breaking. No way, that's impossible. You shouldn't even have any cultivation left. How can you unleash such terrifying power? This earth-shattering commotion instantly alerted all of Tiandao sect. Countless disciples still in seclusion smashed through their roofs and flew out. They thought it was a demonic invasion. But once outside, they saw thousand-year spirit beasts fleeing everywhere. Even the sect's guardian beast was hiding with its tail tucked in fear. Spirit beast, cowering in its cave, trembling. Suchacha, who'd just been woken up in pain, saw the scene and wet his pants again with fright. The stink spread instantly. He looked pale, and with trembling lips squeezed out a few words. No, this just can't be. Not only him. All the disciples present were scared out of their minds. This level of heavenly spectacle. Throughout Tiandao sect, even that ancestor who's been shut away for years could never pull this off. Could it be Lin Fan was never truly crippled? He spent 3 years lying in the graveyard, pretending to be weak all along. Everyone's been played by him. As for me right now, with everyone staring, I lazily yawned. I snapped that broken wooden stick, kicked out the chive stuck in my teeth, acting crazily arrogant and showing off like mad. Elder Huang Lei began sweating through his back instantly. As a late-stage nascent soul cultivator, more than anyone, he could sense this power so clearly. This is simply not a level he could ever reach.
He could clearly sense this force.
But it was a realm completely out of his reach. Facing such a genius, he'd actually thought to watch from the sidelines. Sighed. Suddenly, Zhao Tianba, scared to the point of losing control, dropped to his knees in the mud with a thud. He started banging his head frantically, crying, begging for mercy. Lord Lin, please spare me. My master is the Grand Elder of Tiandao sect. If you kill me, he will definitely not let you go when he's out. My face remained totally blank, not a ripple of emotion. I just slowly raised my hand and pressed down gently in midair. Rumble. The giant golden sword energy blazing through the clouds, like divine punishment, fell straight down. Faced with this ultimate destructive power, Tiandao sect's grand mountain gate, carved with countless defensive arrays, was shattered in an instant like tofu. Massive boulders crashed down like meteor showers across the sect's mountains. The whole place started violently shaking. What terrifying pressure. When did Tiandao sect ever provoke a godlike existence like this? Run, if we don't escape now. We'll all be wiped out. One slash. Heaven Gate sword energy swept through like a storm of death. Zhao Tianba's body, along with all his treasures and armor, just touching the sword aura, crumbled like a sand sculpture in the wind. Piece by piece it broke, disappeared into nothing, destroyed in body and soul. Everyone was shocked stupid. No one dared step forward to stop it. They barely dared to breathe. Even Elder Huang Lei, who was cocky moments ago, was now weak-kneed, shrinking like a quail, shaken in the corner. Meanwhile, deep inside Tiandao sect, in the Ancestral Spirit Tower passed down for 100,000 years, dozens of aged, secluded Grand Elders, whose lifespans were nearly over, all opened their cloudy eyes together. Their shriveled faces were full of unprecedented shock. Such world-ending power, rivaling heavenly thunder. Who could it be? Looking at the back mountain, isn't that where Lin Fan got banished years ago? How is this possible? Wasn't that kid's bones all shattered 3 years ago? The power he's showing now. Even a divine transformation expert, even one at peak divine transformation, couldn't survive a casual attack from him. Before they could finish speaking, inside the Ancestral Tower, tens of thousands of ancestral tablets suddenly began shaking violently. Every tablet gave off a piercing resonance. The elders guarding the Spirit Tower were shocked. Tiandao sect has stood for 100,000 years. Never has any disciple made the slumbering ancestors respond this strongly. What did he just do? Before they could figure it out, those tens of thousands of ancestral tablets suddenly burst out with bright spiritual light, breaking through the seal on the tower top, turning into a meteor shower, rushing crazily toward the graveyard where I am. Oh no, all the ancestral spirits are escaping. The leading Grand Elder's eyes burst with anger. He spat out a mouthful of essence blood, trying to force the array to block them. But no matter how many spells or seals they cast, the spirits acted like they'd met their true king, totally ignoring their descendants' commands. Quick, ring the ancient sect bell. Wake the sect leader up. Hurry. I must awaken the sovereign in the valley. But he's in seclusion for the void refinement stage. He must not be disturbed. Bullshit, if we don't call him now. Our sect's 100,000 years of heritage will be drained dry by that kid. Go now, the elders are panicking. Their eyes are practically bleeding from shock. Meanwhile, the disciples outside are standing there in a daze, watching the spectacular scene in the sky. Countless ancestral spirits turn into light, like birds returning to their forest, madly merging into the eternal dream behind me. Within the phantom shadow, good God, those are the spirits of past masters. He actually summoned them all. Lin Fan, are you human or a ghost? Facing thousands of terrified gazes, I simply brushed the dust off my clothes, a faint, cold smirk playing on my lips. I am the Lord of the Eternal Dream. Who dares sentence me to death today? Who even has the power to do so? As my arrogant declaration echoed, Zhao Tianba, who was just struggling, was completely turned to ashes. Even in death, he couldn't understand why he chose to provoke me. He couldn't fathom why he'd cross a monster who kills gods in dreams. And Suchacha, slumped in the mud, was shaking all over like a leaf. Extreme fear briefly spiked her IQ. She knew there was only one path left for her. Even if she had to grit her teeth, she had to keep this lie going. Because if she admitted framing Lin Fan, even if Lin Fan didn't act, the law hall would skin her alive. They'd gouge out her eyes, smash all her teeth, extract her soul, and burn it in demon fire for 10,000 years. To stay alive, the corners of Suchacha's mouth twisted into a smile creepier than crying. She thought of a wicked plan. She would shamelessly marry Lin Fan. His power now crushes the whole sect. He could tear it down and no one would dare object. As long as she changed her story and said it was all because she loved him, that they were just role-playing, she wouldn't just avoid punishment. She'd become the partner of this killing god. By then, all the sect's cultivation resources would be hers for the taking. That's much better than being Zhao's girl. Stop. Just as she was about to speak, from the edge of the horizon, there came a sudden, majestic roar that shook the very heavens. Then space was torn by invisible hands. A man in purple and gold robes, wearing a celestial crown, stepped through. He walked forward slowly, surrounded by dense laws of nature. As his eyes opened and closed, stars seemed to vanish within them. His aura of absolute superiority made the disciples cough up blood. The newcomer was the sect master, the renowned void refiner, Venerable Aojian. In the eyes of such a supreme being, the breaking realm is just a strong ant, suppressed with a flick of the wrist. Seeing the sect master arrive, Elder Huanglei felt a huge relief. He was the first to drop to his knees, slamming his head into the mud. He pressed his forehead hard into the dirt. Greetings, sect master. The terrified disciples snapped out of it, bowing their heads frantically. As if grabbing a literal lifeline, disciples greet the sect master. Aojian stood with hands behind his back, looking down like a mysterious deity. He coldly scanned the ruined mountain. Huanglei explained to me exactly what happened here. Elder Huanglei was about to explain the whole story, but blood-covered Suchacha scrambled forward like a rabid dog, crawling to the sect master's feet. She used her old tricks, wailing with heartbreaking misery, taking the lies she used to frame me. She repeated them with extra spice. Please judge fairly, sect master. Lin Fan is a bully. Using his restored cultivation, he tried to assault me and murdered senior brother Zhao. Please get justice for brother Zhao. Aojian listened, his brow furrowing deeply. His abyss-like eyes, filled with a dangerous cold light, locked onto me while I picked my nose. The cold gaze locked onto me. Lin Fan is what she says true?
He set the sect rules himself.
If Lin Fan really committed such a crime, even if he was once a genius, he would surely die today. Facing the void refiner's interrogation, I flicked away a piece of dirt and gave a casual, cold laugh. This rabid dog's filthy lies. And you, a sect master, believe them? Did seclusion turn your brain to mush? The moment I said that, the entire place went silent with shock. Everyone looked at me like I was a dead man. Insulting the sect master in public? This kid has completely lost his mind. Suchacha saw her chance and immediately began wailing, Sovereign, I'm an innocent young woman. Why would I risk my honor to lie? Lin Fan won't admit his crimes. He has no respect for you. Aojian's face darkened, but he wasn't a fool. To be certain, he spoke coldly. Since both stories differ, I shall use the soul-searching art. I'll extract both your memories to see the truth.
Hearing this,
The smug Suchasha turned pale as if she'd eaten dirt. She forgot Lin Fan was now powerful, unafraid of a soul search. But she was just at Foundation establishment. If her memory was searched, her framing of a fellow disciple, and her wicked lies, would be exposed to the whole sect. She'd be thrown into the snake pit, to suffer for eternity. In a state of extreme panic, her brain worked overtime. She suddenly did something shocking. She pulled out her hairpin and pressed it against her jugular. "Wait, sect master," she cried. I never blamed senior brother. I've always had a crush on him. Today was just because he was impulsive. If he's willing to marry me, I'll keep this secret forever and never speak of it again." This explosive statement left the disciples completely stunned. Holy crap, that's one hell of a twist. That twist happened so fast. Junior sister Chasha is trying to save Lin Fan's life. She's actually willing to swallow her pride, sacrificing herself forever. That's so touching. Marrying junior sister Chacha, such a devoted woman. Lin Fan must have incredible luck. Lin Fan, why aren't you saying yes already? Do you really want to die? Listening to those idiots ramble around me, I almost want to give an Oscar to Suchacha in my head. This woman's shamelessness. It's honestly like a city wall's corner. The proud sword elder hears this, and his frown relaxes a little. He really doesn't want to lose a rising star right now. Since the girl wants to make peace, going along with it is the best call. He turns to look at me, speaking in a lofty, patronizing tone. Lin Fan, since Suchacha is so understanding, if you agree to marry her, I'll spare you the punishment for killing someone today. If you dare refuse, then don't blame me for being ruthless. I almost laughed out loud hearing this. It nearly made me burst out laughing. You want me to marry this wicked, poisonous woman? Are you dreaming? Suchacha hears me call her trash publicly. She's trembling in anger, but to keep things secret, she keeps pretending. Her hairpin pierces her neck. Blood starts to flow. Senior brother Lin, since you won't take responsibility, what's the point of me living now? I'll die right here, right in front of you. With that, she pretends to kill herself. Sword Elder's expression suddenly chills. He scolds sharply. Lin Fan, Suchacha's not afraid to die. How can you be such a cowardly man? Have you really lost all shame? I look coldly at these self-righteous idiots. After holding back for 3 years, my anger explodes. Enough talking. Go ahead, search his soul. If you search his soul, the truth comes out. Not searching means you're hiding something. Elder Quanglai sees the patriarch embarrassed. He jumps out, points at me, and curses. Watch your mouth. Who do you think you are? How dare you tell the patriarch what to do? The patriarch is merciful. Giving you a way out? You let the patriarch decide. The patriarch's always compassionate, giving you another chance. How dare you act so arrogant? Think a bit of strength. Lets you act tough before a mighty cultivator. Suchasha sees this. She cries her heart out even more. Patriarch, don't blame senior brother. He's just angry and confused. When he calms down, he'll definitely marry me. Sword Elder nods happily. He likes students who know how to smooth things over.
he stands with his hands behind his back.
His purple gold robe flowing without wind, moving on its own, showing unmatched authority over life and death. Lin Fan, since we've discussed this, as the patriarch, I now grant you marriage to Suchacha. Today's matter ends here. No one dare bring it up again. Hearing the patriarch clear her name, Suchacha finally feels relieved. Her heart drops from her throat. As long as the soul isn't searched, she's safe. Not only did she avoid disaster, she can now openly get close to Lin Fan. She's even imagining how she strut around the sect in glory. But I look at Sword Elder with a dumbfounded gaze, watching him like he's slow. The mighty head of Tiandao sect turns out to be a biased old blind fool. With you leading Tiandao sect, this sect is doomed. As soon as I said that, even the sound of breathing vanished around me. Too wild. He actually pointed at a mighty cultivator and called him an old blind fool. Sword Elder's face instantly darkens like a pot bottom. Veins pop out on his forehead. He just wanted to settle things down. and let it go. Never expected Lin Fan to, in front of the whole sect, drag his dignity through the mud and rub it in. You brat, I gave you a chance. Since you're so eager to die, I'll clean house myself today. I'll grind you to dust for your arrogance. Boom! With Sword Elder's fury, a terrifying spiritual power forms wildly in his palm. The destructive energy blasts dozens of disciples nearby, making them spit blood, and sends them flying. The rest of the disciples are kneeling in fear, begging desperately, kneeling and begging for mercy, afraid they'll be caught in the aftershock. This guy is dead for sure. The Patriarch is really pissed now. This is a mighty cultivator's deadly blow. Even if he's talented, he can't survive a single strike from the Patriarch, faced with an attack strong enough to wipe out the mountain. I still just smile calmly. At the same time, the system's cold notification rings in my mind again. Ding. Host is targeted by a mighty cultivator. Activating the ancient dream counterattack mode. Rewarding host with borrowing emperor-level strength for 1 minute.
Ding.
Congrats! Host's level is now peak ascension. Feeling the power inside, one that could almost blow up the universe. The mocking smile on my face gets stronger. I don't even bother with a magic weapon. Directly face Sword Elder's deadly attack. Slowly lift my right hand. Boom! An earth-shattering roar shakes the air. Both powers collide mid-air. The shockwave from the clash turns the whole back mountain into flat land instantly. Flattens the whole back mountain in a flash. Amidst the dust, everyone thought I'd be dead. But when the dust cleared, a mocking voice clearly echoed in everyone's ears. That's all you got? A mighty cultivator. Did you skip breakfast? Everyone looks on in shock. I'm still standing where I was. My robe isn't even messed up. But the lofty Sword Elder is forced back over a dozen steps. With every step backward, he leaves a deep footprint. In the rock, he stares at me, with shock and terror in his eyes. How is this possible? You didn't use any magic, just your body. How can you block my fatal blow? He's not the only one. Everyone in the whole place goes insane. This is beyond their understanding of cultivation. I stretch lazily, yawn and say, now you're done. So it's my turn. Ancestor spirits, hear my call. Formation, at my command. The light of tens of thousands of ancestral spirits in the sky suddenly erupts. The thousands of ancestral spirits shining in the sky suddenly burst out with light brighter than the sun. Countless spirits weave and dart across the sky, forming a massive formation that blocks out the sun. As the formation spins, it devours the land for hundreds of miles around. Spiritual energy shrinks. They can actually control the spirits of past masters to form this array. Proud Sword Venerable is totally panicking now. He instantly summons his own life-bound flying sword, strikes at the formation overhead with everything he's got. But the formation drawn by those spirits is impossible to destroy. His life-bound sword strikes against it, doesn't even leave a mark. Clang, clang, clang. Sparks fly across the sky, no matter how hard Proud Sword Venerable attacks. The formation stands as steady as a mountain. Instead, an even scarier pressure builds up. It locks onto him firmly. As the sect leader, you cover up for sinners, twist truth and lies. Today, for all our ancestors of the Heavenly Tao sect, I'm going to teach you a lesson for your betrayal. Hands held behind his back, like a god judging the world.
He coldly descends.
His divine power crashes down. Thousands of spirits turn into beams of destruction. Those beams instantly engulf Proud Sword Venerable. The mighty sect leader lets out a terribly tragic howl. His protective true energy shatters instantly. His flying sword cries out. Broken in two, he falls like a kite with its string cut. Blood sprays everywhere. He crashes heavily into the ruins. Total silence falls across the crowd. A reverse void powerhouse, Heavenly Tao Sect's strongest, was killed in one move. If they hadn't seen it themselves, they would never believe something so crazy. Proud Sword Venerable struggles to crawl out of the ruins. Hair wild and messy, more miserable than ever. He glares at me. His eyes are full of hate and resentment, right as he's about to burn his soul. To die with me together? Stop, all of you. A cold and lofty voice, like immortal music from the heavens, suddenly booms above the sky. Snow starts falling from nowhere. A huge frosty snow lotus, blooms slowly in midair. A woman dressed in snowy white. With stunning beauty, Zhu Shangxu appears. A gorgeous woman more beautiful than anyone, barefoot atop the snow lotus. She descends like a goddess from the heavens. She radiates a chilling aura 100 times scarier than Proud Sword Venerable. The moment she appears, the craziness in Proud Sword Venerable's eyes vanishes, replaced by endless fear and awe.
He ignores his serious wounds.
Kneels down with a thud. Disciple bows to Lady Yao Guang, senior sister, the true number one of Heavenly Yao Sect. The legend who secluded herself for 500 years. Lady Yao Guang. All elders and disciples present, feeling the soul-crushing pressure. Kneel down instantly. Don't even dare to breathe. Greetings, Grand Ancestor. Lady Yao Guang doesn't even look at Proud Sword Venerable. Her ice-cold eyes showing no human emotion land right on me. Even just facing her, I can feel a chilling sense of danger. Junior brother, you went way too far just now. Lady Yao Guang finally speaks. Way too far. Lady Yao Guang slowly opens her mouth. Her voice is ethereal and distant. Proud Sword Venerable hears her scolding Lin Fan and instantly gets excited, quickly crawls forward to complain. Senior sister Lin Fan is wicked. He hurt his fellow disciples, used evil magic to control ancestral spirits, injured me. He even tried to violate female disciple Su Cha. Such a villain should be executed right away to restore the sect's order.
He thinks Lady Yao Guang will back him up.
He believes Lin Fan is done for today. But Lady Yao Guang just turns her head slightly and stares at him like she's seeing the dead. Did I let you speak? Just one sentence. It hits Proud Sword Venerable like a thunderbolt. He spits blood suddenly, blown 100 meters away.
He looks at his world in terror
And doesn't dare make a sound. Lady Yao Guang's eyes sweep over Su Cha, whose face is full of despair. A flash of extreme disgust in her gaze. That woman's poor acting can only fool idiots like you. She sees right through Su Cha's lies. When Su Cha hears this, her eyes roll up, and she faints with fright. Lady Yao Guang looks at me again, her tone still icy, but with a hint of complexity. Lin Fan, you broke your sword bones to save me years ago. You became crippled. I promised to protect you for life. Now you've regained your strength, but you've killed recklessly in the sect. You still broke the iron rules.
Hearing this,
All disciples listen closely. Turns out Lin Fan became crippled because he saved Lady Yao Guang. No wonder he's so bold now. I look up at Lady Yao Guang floating midair, but my eyes are calm. I even feel like laughing. Stop flattering yourself. Back then, I just couldn't sleep. Helping you was nothing big. Your Heavenly Dao Sect's so-called iron rules aren't even worth toilet paper to me. Such outrageous words make everyone gasp again. Lady Yao Guang frowns slightly, but doesn't act out. She coldly declares what happened today will be fully investigated by me 3 days from now, if found. In 3 days, if it's proved Su Cha slandered her peers, she will not be spared. As for Lin Fan, from today on, you'll go with me to Yao Guang Peak for confinement. Without my permission, no one can visit. She doesn't care if I agree. She just flicks her sleeve. A powerful frost wraps around me. A second later, we disappear instantly, leaving everyone stunned. And the ruined grounds. Proud Sword Venerable clenches his fist tightly. His eyes flash with vicious light. Senior sister, you still favor him, but I don't believe you'll find any evidence in 3 days. As long as Su Cha sticks to her story, Lin Fan will suffer, even if he survives. Yao Guang Peak's Ice Palace. Lady Yao Guang brought me here, surrounded by ancient, unmelting ice. Lady Yao Guang stares at me, her eyes unusually tired and guilty. Lin Fan, you suffered for 3 years. I shamelessly picked the best jade cold bed to lie down, get into a comfy position. I shifted to a more comfortable position on the bed, let out a yawn, cut the act. You brought me here, not just to say this useless stuff, right? The Empress Yao Guang sighed. She took out a blood-stained jade pendant from her chest. The moment I saw that jade pendant, my lazy eyes suddenly turned razor-sharp. A terrifying killing intent surged out of me. It blew cracks into the surrounding ice. Because there was a colored character carved on the jade pendant, that was something Mica always carried. During those 3 years when I was crippled and abandoned by the clan, She was the only one who snuck to the back mountain graveyard every night, red-eyed, feeding me porridge, and helping this mute little maid wash me. I once swore, when my system awakened, I'd make her the most honored woman in this world. But this morning, she didn't come. I thought she overslept. Where did you get this jade pendant? I jumped up suddenly, stared hard at Empress Yao Guang. She closed her eyes. Her voice was heavy with pain. Actually, Sachasha is just an idiot being used by someone else. Everything this morning, all of it is just about an idiot being used as a pawn. Everything this morning was part of a huge chain of assassinations. Their real goal wasn't you, but to distract you and take away that girl named Mica. Who did this? My voice sounded like it came from hell. The temperature in the room suddenly dropped to absolute zero. Eastern Zhou Taigu Demon Sect. Empress Yao Guang took a deep breath. Mica wasn't just some regular mute maid. In her veins flows the ancient Demon Sect Seng's original blood. She stayed by your side. Actually, she's been using her own blood, secretly nurturing your broken sword bone. Now she's been taken by the Demon Sect's protectors. Unless something goes wrong, in 7 days, the sect leader will drain all her blood for the sacrificial ceremony. When I heard this, it felt like an invisible hand was crushing my heart, squeezing it tight. That silly girl, the one who couldn't even speak, and only gave me a goofy smile every time. She was literally trading her life for mine all along. No wonder she'd grown so pale these 3 years. No wonder every time she fed me, after I finished my porridge, she'd always hide behind a gravestone, gasping for breath. And all along, I thought she was just a normal person. Boom! My eternal dream physique completely rampaged in that instant. A terrifying pillar of energy blasted straight through the Ice Palace dome atop Yao Guang Peak, piercing the heavens. Screw the heavenly Dao sect. And the Demon Sect too. If anyone touches a hair on Mica, I'll wipe out the whole world for her. Lin Fan, calm down. Empress Yao Guang tried to suppress me with her ice power. The ancient Demon Sect is insanely strong. They've got over 100 elders at nascent soul level and above. If you go now, you're just throwing your life away. Throwing my life away? My eyes turned blood red, like a demon king straight out of hell. I crushed the cold jade bed in my hand. My voice made people's bones freeze. If they want to play tricks, I'm going to the ancient Demon Sect today myself. I grabbed a piece of millennia-old ice nearby and crushed it to powder like tofu. To hell with that Demon Sect. Even if the King of Heaven himself shows up today, I'll pull all their roots out. I'll pull all their roots out. Empress Yao Guang looked at me going ballistic. A flash of shock and confusion in her eyes, on her frozen, icy face. For once, there was actually a trace of worry. Lin Fan, stop right there. Even I can't break into the Demon Sect's grand formation easily. If you just rush in, it's not much different than suicide. She flicked her jade hand. Ice and snow split into 9 thick chains of ice, trying to force me to stay. I didn't even look back. My eternal dream physique shuddered inside me. A lazy but dominating golden flame erupted from my body. Those 9 ice chains, strong enough to hold a void lord, vaporized the moment they touched me, like snow under a blazing sun, instantly turning into a cloud of white mist. Empress Yao Guang grunted in pain. Her flawless face went pale. She bit her bloodless lower lip hard and looked at me like I was some kind of freak she couldn't understand. What technique even is that? Even if your sword bone was never broken, you could never have this kind of insane power. You could never have this kind of insane power. I stopped walking, turned to look at this aloof empress. My tone flat as ever. Told you, I just took a nap? If you insist on stopping me, I don't mind taking you down too. Empress Yao Guang took a deep breath. Those ethereal eyes of hers showed signs of inner turmoil. Then, surprisingly, she made an unexpected decision. She let go of her icy aura, stepped forward with her snow-white feet, and walked up to me, step by step. Since I can't stop you, I'll go with you. Back then, you took a blow from me and ruined your sword bone. This karma, even if it costs my life, I, Yao Guang, will repay you. It's not just those 7 nascent soul elders over at the Demon Sect. There are also a few 1,000-year-old monsters sleeping there. With me, at least I can hold off 1 or 2. watching her act so heroically ready to die. I couldn't help but laugh. That world-destroying rage in my heart was softened by her forced heroics. Quite a bit. Sis, I'm going to kill and save my wife, not to die. You make it sound like we're off to die. Just to save my wife, not die. Stop acting like it's some tragic farewell. Come along if you want. Honestly, I need someone to serve tea on the road. When she heard serve tea, Empress Yao Guang's eye twitched like crazy. The #1 genius of the heavenly Tao sect, the most admired empress in the eastern wilderness, was actually being treated like a maid by a former cripple. If word got out, the whole eastern cultivation world would freak out. Yet, in the end, she still resisted the urge to smack me with an ice arrow, just gave a cold snort, and stayed silent. I pulled out a battered bamboo flute, put it to my lips, and played a random off-key note. The next instant, from the back mountain beast yard, came a thunderous roar shaking heaven and earth. Right after that, a giant beast the size of a hill, a millennia-old Zhuangming turtle, flew through the air, riding on lucky clouds, and charged at me like a happy puppy. On its huge shell hung a few stunned spirit pearls foaming at the mouth. This turtle was originally the laziest troublemaker in the beast yard. These past 3 years as a poop scooper, I've been teaching him to chill and slack off every day. I totally transformed him from a hardworking turtle into one that just eats, sleeps, and repeats, a top-notch lazy bum. The Zhuangming turtle landed with a loud crash in the snow before me. He poked his huge head out, looking fawning. He rubbed against my leg. His face was even more groveling than a pug. Yao Guang Empress looked at this ancient beast-like Zhuangming turtle. She was completely stunned. The ancestral guardian beast, Zhuangming Elder. How did you end up like this? I ignored her shock and just jumped up, landing right on the broad turtle shell. I pulled out a rocking chair from my pouch and lay down super comfy. Old turtle, we're heading to Central State Taigu Demon Sect. Full speed ahead. Keep it steady on the way. Don't mess with my nap. The Zhuangming turtle let out a happy roar and kicked off hard, shooting skyward like a flash. Yao Guang Empress sighed helplessly, then turned into a snowy light and followed. Sitting on the turtle, she followed as a snowy streak, sitting on the shell. The scenery zoomed past. I pulled out a teapot from my system space and sipped some spirit tea, feeling great. Ding, congrats host, you're slacking on a flying mount. Dream cultivation conversion rate up 2%. Hearing that sweet system notification, I squinted my eyes, feeling good. Yao Guang Empress sat next to me, her posture upright like a pine tree. Her surroundings always pulsed with the ice heart technique. She looked at me all lazy and hopeless, and finally couldn't hold it in. Linfan Taigu Demon Sect is 100,000 miles away. Even if Zhuangming turtle flies full speed, it'll still take 2 days and nights, with a big enemy ahead. Why don't you use this time to restore your spiritual power? With your laziness, how are you going to rescue anyone from that demon's lair? I lazily turned over, grabbed a spirit bead nearby, plucked some fur off it, and used it as a toothpick. You don't get it. This is the supreme way of cultivation. Your way of just sitting and locked up training is totally outdated now. That old method is out of style. Yao Guang Empress was so mad her chest heaved. She turned away, ignoring me, secretly cursing herself for following this lunatic. Night fell. The wind up here was freezing cold. I stretched and pulled out a huge black pot from my pouch, grabbed a bunch of rare herbs, looted from the spirit beast garden, and top-tier beast meat, and started cooking with practiced hands. Soon enough, a thick, mouth-watering smell of meat spread across the shell. That aroma felt magical, going straight into your nose. Yao Guang Empress, who had her eyes closed all this time, couldn't help but twitch her nose a little. She unknowingly swallowed. She'd been fasting hundreds of years, long forgotten what food tasted like. But today, the smell of this stew actually cracked her rock-solid resolve. Her Tao heart wavered for a moment. I skimmed off the foam with a spoon, served a steaming bowl of soup, and handed it to her. Drink up. It's made with 1,000-year fire ginseng and golden core, and the marrow of ironhide cattle, to warm you up. Yao Guang Empress wanted to refuse, but that smell was just too strong. Her hand involuntarily took the bowl. She sipped a small mouthful. Boom, hot soup went down, and pure spiritual power flooded her limbs. It exploded through her whole body. She was shocked to find just a sip of the soup held more power than a month of her closed-door training. What did you put in here? Her beautiful eyes widened, looking at me surprised. I grinned and stuffed a big chunk of tender beef in my mouth. Just some of my special dream seasoning. Actually, a system reward ultimate flavoring. Way better than chewing snowballs all day, right? Yao Guang Empress blushed. For once didn't argue back, drinking soup quietly. The icy, untouchable you, right now, actually seem a bit cute and down to earth. After eating and drinking, I lay back on the rocking chair, staring at the stars, and couldn't help but remember Mica, thinking of Mica's pale yet warm smile. That face always gentle. That winter 3 years ago, the mountain was buried in snow. I just started breaking through. My whole body felt like thousands of needles were stabbing me. I didn't even have strength to crawl up for water. Everyone in the sect watched me struggle. Suchacha, that scheming witch, always brought Zhao Tianba to mock me outside my hut. Only Mica, the mute girl assigned as a servant, came every night, climbing through the snow, hugging a worn clay pot tight. Inside was porridge she'd made with her own food, a thin gruel made from her precious rations. Every time she opened the door and saw me writhing in pain, her eyes turned red like a little rabbit. But she couldn't speak, only hugged me hard with her frostbitten, chapped, red hands, passing her body heat to me. Later I found out. Every time I drank her porridge, my pain eased like a miracle. I thought she'd added some secret remedy. Maybe some magical herb. Never imagined she'd mixed her own heart's blood in it. She was actually the original Senxes of Taigu Demon Sect. High status. The first generation Senxes. But to escape her sex hunters, ended up in Tiandao sect. As the lowest servant, she could have just hidden herself and lived safe. But spent her life for me, a total stranger. She didn't hesitate to give up her own life. Mica, you're the biggest fool ever. I clenched my fists, my knuckles popping. System check for me. What does Taigu Demon Sect want with Mica? Use up 100,000 dream points. Intel generated. Taigu Demon Sect's chief, Ming Elder, is near death, and wants to use the Saintess's first-gen true blood to start an ancient demon sacrifice ritual and rebuild the eternal demon body, breaking all limits. The sacrifice is set for tomorrow at midnight.
Hearing tomorrow midnight.
A fierce killing intent flashed in my eyes. Old turtle, burn your blood for me, and sprint at max speed. Before sunset tomorrow, if we don't make it to Central State. Before sunset tomorrow, if we can't make it to Central State. I'll cook you up tonight for turtle soup. You can feel the real killing intent coming off me. The Zhuanming turtle shivered all over in fear.
He couldn't care about saving his strength anymore.
He just started burning the faint Jianwu bloodline in his body. A wave of explosive sound burst around the outside of his shell. The blast sped up more than tenfold, like a meteor crashing to the ground. It tore through the void like crazy. Empress Yao Guang looked at me. At the terrifying aura that even made her heart race, she fully understood one thing. The careless guy in front of her was no longer the one from years ago. No longer the genius who needed her protection. Now he's an unmatched killer who could flip the whole East Wilderness at any moment. The next evening, in Central State, the ancient demon sect's endless black mountains stretched for 100,000 miles, like a dead dragon lying dormant on the land. Above, thick blood-colored poisonous mists floated year-round. This place is the forbidden zone that righteous cultivators in East Wilderness fear to mention. Even the air reeks of disgusting blood. The demon sect's guardian array went all out, taking shape into a huge upside-down blood-red dome of light, locking down the entire core area. On the array's outer ring, over 10,000 fully armed elite disciples of the demon sect were patrolling back and forth. 2 nascent soul stage protectors led the group. Stop right there. Ahead lies the forbidden ground of the ancient demon sect. Who goes there? A demon sect protector with one blind eye spotted the charging Zhuanming turtle. He immediately raised his soul banner and shouted harshly. Yao Guang Empress looked serious, cold energy surging from her body. She got ready to draw her life sword. Wait, Lin Fan, this 10,000 demon blood array is no joke. It can devour spiritual attacks. Let me force a way open. You rush in and rescue people. I slowly stood up from the rocking chair, gave a big stretch, patted his shoulder casually. Put your sword away. Fighting is so exhausting. Watch closely. Real infiltration. Means nobody knows we were here. After finishing, I quickly made hand signs. A strange and intense invisible wave spread out from my center instantly. A bizarre, unseen ripple spreads from me. In an instant. Ancient dream, first lifetime, spring nights leave no trace. Buzz, that invisible wave, swept over the 10,000 Demon Sect disciples below. Even the two nascent soul protectors weren't spared. Something unbelievable happened. The fierce, murderous Demon Sect cultists just now all stiffened up suddenly. Then, the rage on their faces melted away instantly. What replaced it was goofy, almost creepy smiles. Hey, Kwewa. Don't run away. I'm gonna be sect master. Splash, splash. The 10,000 demon sect elites dropped to the ground like dumplings. All at once, and instantly fell into deep sleep. Some folks hugged stones and kissed them like crazy. Seeing this scene, Yao Guang Empress's pretty face turned bright red. She glared at me, gritting her teeth. What kind of filthy demon magic is this? Looking at me, what kind of dirty magic did you use? I rolled my eyes. If it works, that's all I care about. Who cares if it's dirty or not? Go inside. See what these demon brats are up to. I went in riding the Xuanming turtle, as casually as strolling in a garden, passing right through the so-called absolute defense array. The dream law rewarded by the system can bend the rules of reality directly. A little blood array is nothing but air to me. Ancient demon sect's core, the 10,000 demon altar. It's a huge pyramid built from countless white bones, piled up to make the giant pyramid. At the altar's peak, ghostly green 9 nether demon fire burned fiercely. Around the altar right now, packed with kneeling demon sect elders and leaders. Each of their eyes burned with fanatic light. In the altar's center stood a pitch-black soul-locking pillar. Nietzsche's thin, tiny body was tightly chained to the pillar with thick black iron chains, bound as tight as possible. He wore only a thin, rough hemp robe. His whole body was stained with dried blood. Sharp barbs stabbed deep into his wrists.
And
Several sharp barbs jabbed deep into his wrists and collarbones. Bright red blood dripped along the spikes, falling drop by drop into the blood trough below. Right now his face looked pale as paper. Even breathing came in broken spurts, like a dying candle in the wind. But his eyes stayed calm. No fear, no hate. And deep in those dim eyes, you could still see a faint sense of relief and longing. Young Master Lin Fan, you should be okay now, right? Nietzsche silently thought to himself,
his cracked lips curled up a bit.
making an extremely weak smile. That young master who always sunbathed in the cemetery behind the mountain. That one who secretly feared pain, but kept pushing himself through it. The only one who never looked down on him for being mute, and would secretly give him heavenly fruit he couldn't bear to eat himself, slipping them into his pocket. As long as you're safe, Nietzsche's not afraid even if he bleeds dry. Above the altar, an elder in a broad black cloak, skinny as a skeleton, greedily stared at the primal true blood gathering in the channel. That true blood, he's the ancient demon sect master. Elder Ming, just one step from the void return realm. No wonder it's the same maiden's primal blood. The life in it is intoxicating. Elder Ming let out a creepy midnight laugh. He greedily inhaled the bloody air. With this true blood, I can not only rebuild my demon body, I can break through to the next realm, step beyond the legendary void return realm, and rule all of East Wilderness. He turned to the dying Nietzsche. His eyes flashed cruel and mocking. My dear Saint Maiden, don't blame me for being ruthless. If you must blame, blame your reckless lover. If our spy in Heavenly Tao sect hadn't said, that guy suddenly got his powers back and started a killing spree in the sect, I might not have made up my mind to hold the sacrifice early. Hearing Lin Fan's name, Nietzsche's dim eyes suddenly blazed with light. He struggled violently, trying to speak, but could only make out hoarse screeches. His tears streamed like a broken necklace. Tears rolled down like a broken string of pearls. Getting anxious, haha. Ancestor Ming laughed wildly at the sky. You think that loser Lin Fan can save you? Even if he recovers, so what? That coward from the heavenly Dao sect. Would he dare go to war with us? Just for some lowly servant against our ancient demon sect? To put it simply, even if he did show up, I would crush his bones, piece by piece right in front of you. I'll make you watch him suffer worse than death. Time's up. Ancestor Ming suddenly raised his hand, holding his sinister bone-carving demon blade, radiating a raging aura. The sacrificial ceremony officially starts. I'm going to rip your heart out while you're alive. He let out a furious roar. His demon blade became a bolt of black lightning, aimed straight at Camouflage's chest. Camouflage closed his eyes in despair. Tears slid down his face, dripping onto the cold altar. Young master, if there's another life, I'll make porridge for you again. Just as the demon blade was about to reach Camouflage's chest, less than an inch away, a very impatient and lazy-sounding voice seemed to echo from afar, impatient and lazy. Like it came from above the 9 heavens, boomed in everyone's ears. Late at night and nobody's sleeping. What are you doing here? Slaughtering pigs. It's so loud at that moment. The space around the demon sacrifice altar felt like it was forced to stop by an irresistible power. Everything was frozen. Ancestor Ming was shocked to realize his hand gripping the demon blade was like it was cemented into divine iron. No matter how hard he pushed, his overwhelming demonic energy couldn't move the blade forward even a tiny bit. What is this sorcery? Hundreds of demon sect elders kneeling below were also crushed by a terrifying pressure, pinned to the ground tightly. Even moving a finger was impossible. Suddenly, the thick, bloody mist in the sky was torn open roughly by someone, leaving a huge crack. A giant pink plush toy, mountain-sized, fell from the sky holding something with destructive power, smashing perfectly onto the altar's shield. A giant crash shattered the space. The ancient demon sect spent 10,000 years creating a barrier that could withstand even a void realm powerhouse, known as the ultimate demon protection shield. But in front of that ridiculous pink plush pillow, it was fragile like a piece of tissue paper. It exploded instantly into shimmering light. The shockwave turned into a level 12 storm, flattening all the bone buildings around the altar. Countless low-ranked demon disciples didn't even get a chance to scream, and were turned into dust in the storm. Everyone watched in shock and disbelief. I stepped on that swaggering black tortoise, yawning as I slowly descended from the sky. Empress Yao Guang stood calmly beside me, her insanely cold sword aura freezing all the swirling devil energy nearby. The moment he saw me, Camouflage, tied to the pillar, snapped his eyes open. His eyes that had lost all focus now widened from shock and joy. Huge and round, tears flooded out like a dam breaking. He shook his head desperately, yelling as if telling me to run, to not care about him. Looking at his delicate, little body covered in bloody holes. His face pale as paper from blood loss. I felt something snap deep inside. No shouting, no roaring. I was just eerily calm, jumping down silently from the black tortoise, walking step by step toward the altar. My steps were light, but all the demon sect leaders there felt every step like it was stomping on their souls, shaking them so hard they were coughing up blood. Who are you really? Ancestor Ming finally broke free from the space lock. His hand holding the demon blade trembled violently. He kept backing up, eyes full of unprecedented terror, because he realized he couldn't see through this young man's cultivation at all. No trace of spiritual power from him. And yet somehow, he feels like facing the vast universe, powerless. I walked to the edge of the altar, stared at him coldly. So you're the one who hurt my wife. Ming was scared. But he was still the sect leader, and right here in the heart of the ancient demon sect.
His ruthless nature
Made him burst into action instantly. I don't care what monster you are, coming here to mess with my ancient demon sect. You're not leaving alive today. Heavenly demon body split technique. Go to hell, He didn't hesitate. Burned his own life force and soul. His body instantly swelled to 30 feet tall. Like some ancient demon god holding the bone-carving demon blade. Blood-red blade light tearing through the world. He slashed at my head like crazy. This attack could sink half of Central State, faced with a world-destroying strike. Empress Yao Guang's face changed. Lin Fam, be careful. That's a life-or-death strike at the peak of nascent soul. But I didn't even blink. I just slowly raised my right hand, facing the devastating blade light, and snapped my fingers. The loud snap echoed in the silent night. Next second, everyone stared in disbelief. That terrifying blood-red blade light suddenly turned into a string of colorful soap bubbles, bursting pop-pop in the air, leaving only a slight scent. Bursting pop-pop in the air, and a faint, cheap perfume smell. What impossible? Ming's eyes almost popped out. His huge demon body frozen in midair, staring blankly, questioning reality. He even rubbed his eyes hard, thinking he must have fallen into a weird hallucination. Sorry, in my dreams, even Newton bows before me. So what chance do you, old man, have? I gave a cruel, cold smile, lifted my right hand and grasped at the air. Grand dream eternal. Second move, shattered dream invisible. Bang! Ancestor Ming's unbreakable demon body was grabbed by an invisible giant hand, torn apart, like squashing a tomato in midair. Black blood and flesh rained down everywhere. Even his soul got crushed into nothingness. The mighty sect master of the ancient Demon Sect, just one step from the Void Realm, a top powerhouse, couldn't even survive a snap of my fingers. Got killed instantly. Sect leaders dead. Demon God, run! Quick, activate the ancestral grounds. Wake up the elders. The remaining demon elders under the altar. Total ups. The power they were so proud of looked like a joke in front of this man. They screamed, scrambling to escape this massacre, trying to run. Today, no one from the primordial demon sect gets out alive, not even a dog. My eyes turned pure gold. A terrifying wave of dream laws rippled out. Every demon affected by the law, no matter where they ran, their bodies melted like wax, evaporating silently without a trace. No screams, no blood. Only this ultimate terror of being erased from existence itself in just 10 breaths. The huge core of the primordial demon sect, aside from Empress Yao Guang and camouflage tied to the pillar. Not a single living soul remained. A deathly silence filled the ruins. Empress Yao Guang's sword hand was shaking. She stared at my back. Her very soul was trembling. This was nothing like a cultivator's power. This was a god's wrath. I ignored her shock, walked straight to the soul-locking pillar, reached my hand toward the soul-locking pillar, gently pinched. The mysterious iron said to withstand heavenly thunder. The chains crumbled to dust instantly. Camouflage lost support and collapsed forward limply. I pulled her tightly into my arms. Her weight was so light, it made my heart ache all over again. Camouflage rested against my chest, weakly lifted her bloody little hand, trying to touch my cheek, but afraid of dirtying my clothes. She awkwardly tried to pull her hand back. I grabbed her cold little hand, pressed it tight to my face. My eyes brimmed with tears. Silly girl, I'm here to take you home. No one will ever bully you again. From the system space, I crazily took out all kinds of legendary elixirs that could bring the dead back. I crushed them like they were nothing, letting the pure medicinal energy flow constantly into her body. But Camouflage was losing her very lifeblood. Even these immortal drugs could only keep her alive for now. They couldn't fix her foundation. Stop wasting your strength, young master. Young master. Don't waste your energy. Camouflage forced a smile at me, so pure and sincere. I got to see you shine again. I'm happy, young master. She slowly closed her eyes, her breathing fading. I'm not letting you die. Even if I have to go to Hell's Gates, I'll erase your name from the list. I bit my tongue, spat out my own sacred golden blood that carried the very essence of my divine soul, sprayed it on her chest. System, give me the best bloodline rebuilding pill. Take every bit of my dream points if you have to.
Hurry.
Sensing host's intense will, 1 million dream points consumed. Successfully exchanged 9-turn chaotic lotus pill. A pill with primordial violet energy. appeared in my hand out of thin air. I pried open her lips without hesitation and fed her the pill. Boom! The moment the pill entered, endless life force shot out in her body, exploding like the stars. Her skin, pale as paper, grew rosy before my eyes. Her terrible wounds vanished instantly. Not even a scar. Her terrible wounds healed up, without leaving the slightest scar. And not just that. Above her head, a giant, lifelike blue lotus appeared. The energy around her went wild, rushing madly into her body. Crack. Like the sound of a shackle breaking. Camouflage's cultivation soared like a rocket. Key refining, foundation, golden core, nascent soul, even divine transformation. All the way to peak divine transformation. Only then did the breakthrough finally pause. Empress Yao Guang was stunned, speechless. A single pill didn't just save someone near death. It also boosted her cultivation, straight to peak divine transformation, while recreating an unmatched physique. Is this even humanly possible? What the hell happened to this world? Slowly, the blue lotus above her faded into her body. Her long lashes trembled. She slowly opened her clear eyes. And when she saw my face up close, she couldn't hold back anymore. She threw herself at me, bursting into tears. Young master. A clear, lovely voice, crisp and sweet like an aureole, suddenly rang in my ear. My body shuddered. I looked down in disbelief at the little girl sobbing her eyes out in my arms. You can talk now. Camouflage looked up, eyes full of tears, stared at me, nodding hard, nodded with all her might. Young master, I can talk now. Young master. It was like she wanted to make up for all those silent years, calling my name again and again. Hearing that voice full of trust and love, I just hugged her tighter and burst out laughing. Good. From today on, you can talk. And you're the most honorable woman in this world. Just as we were lost in this happy reunion, disaster struck. From the altar I'd just leveled, deep under the ruins, suddenly came an earth-shaking tremor. Right after that, an evil aura 1,000 times worse than the Nether River ancestor rose up, like a doomsday beast awakening in the abyss, coming alive, bursting to the sky, tearing a huge black hole in the heavens above. Inside that hole, chaotic energy surged. A massive crimson vertical eye opened in the void. The moment that eye gazed at this world, every cultivator in the East felt their souls tremble with terror. That was supreme pressure from an upper realm true immortal. Even a void-returning expert, under that power, could only shake like an ant. Utter terror. Damn, it's the primordial Demon Sect. The ancient Magus Ming He from the legends. That crazy old coot, right before dying, used his soul to spring a final trap and lured this monster down. Empress Yao Guang's face went pale. Her eyes soared, could barely handle the pressure, and started to wail. An upper realm true immortal descends.
This
Is way beyond what this world can take. Not just the primordial Demon Sect, but the whole eastern wasteland is doomed to ash from this disaster. Where do ants get the nerve to destroy my sect? Who gave you the nerve to destroy my sect and end my legacy? A grand cold roar echoed from that crimson tree eye like a law of nature, shattering the surrounding space inch by inch. Nietzsche turned pale with fear, grabbing my clothes tightly, trying to shield me behind his slender frame. I gently patted his back, signaling him not to be afraid. Then I slowly stood up straight, facing that crimson tree eye's contemptuous gaze. I picked my ear with great annoyance. Why are you shouting so loud? Can't you see you're scaring my wife? That massive crimson vertical eye. The moment it heard my voice, its pupil suddenly contracted. The once overbearing pressure actually fluctuated violently and weirdly. He stared at me intensely, as if trying to see through my skin, to see my soul itself. After a full half-minute, that grand cold voice, actually for the first time, carried a hint of panic and stuttering that even Empress Yao Guang heard. The aura on your body. How is it so like that one in the Eternal Dream? The maniac who smashed the ancestor with a brick. Right on the back of my head. Hearing about the brick-smashing maniac. The one who hit the back of his head. Upon hearing these words, Empress Yao Guang's jaw completely dropped. Nietzsche also blinked his big cute eyes. I narrowed my eyes slightly and rubbed my chin. I thought you looked a bit familiar. So it's you, you old blind eye. What? I broke your leg in the dream last time. This time you plan to lose your eyeball too? The crimson eye in the sky twitched madly, seeming trapped in some terrifying memory. The void hole began to twist violently. That upper realm demon lord seemed to be retreating desperately. Thinking of running? No way. A cruel curve formed on my lips. I slammed my right foot onto the ground, soaring into the sky like a cannonball, heading straight for that crimson vertical eye. The eternal dream. The third life has everything. Hand over everything you own. Watching my figure soar into the sky, accompanied by the void, and the shrill scream of that supreme demon lord. The entire eastern sky was dyed a brilliant gold and red. And this was only my first day awake. I looked at the ground. I looked at Zhao Tianba slumped on the ground, and that shattered lightning battle blade. I couldn't help but let out a long yawn. Sleeping for 10 years in a dream, though I slew many gods and demons. Opening my eyes just now, I'm still a bit dazed. The disciples who were just shouting now looked like roosters being strangled. Mouths wide enough to fit an ostrich egg. They stared at the bamboo in my hand full of holes, eyes full of existential despair. Elder Quanglai's once grim face was now a spectacle of emotions. His cloudy eyes stared fixedly at the bamboo pillow, as if trying to see through those wormholes, to find some world-shaking secret inside. But no matter how he probed, it really was just a piece of rotten bamboo. Elder Huangmei, want to try this pillow too? I shook the bamboo pillow in my hand. It made a creaking sound, as if it would fall apart any second. Elder Huangmei instinctively stepped back. His lightning aura became uncontrollably chaotic. He took a deep breath, forcing down the shock in his heart. He shouted coldly, "Lin Fan, don't you dare be so arrogant. Destroying Zhao Tianba's blade. Maybe you use some crooked trick, but that doesn't mean you're cleared of defiling junior sister Su Cha-Cha." Su Cha-Cha was also pale from my move earlier, paralyzed with fear. But hearing Elder Quanglai's words, she immediately understood. Showing off her Oscar-level acting again, she crawled to Elder Quanglai's feet, crying like a rainy pear blossom. "Elder, you must get justice for me. Senior Lin Fan has such great power, yet he chose to fall so low, using his power to bully a weak girl like me.
His heart is so wicked
that he has reached the point of madness." I knelt down, picked up the pink mandarin duck sachet from the grass, and sniffed it under my nose. Seeing this, Su Cha-Cha acted like a cat with its tail stepped on, and screamed aloud, "Everyone, look! He's publicly fondling my personal item. This pervert!" The group of clueless. Personal item? This pervert! The group of clueless, gullible disciples instantly found their moral high ground, each one filled with righteous indignation, wishing they could drown me in their spit. I curled my lip, tossed the sachet on the ground, and turned to Su Cha-Cha. "Junior sister Su, the scent of aphrodisiac in this hasn't faded yet. Are you in such a hurry to frame me? You say I molested you, but you don't have a single red mark on you. Instead, look at you, under your fingernails. How is there a scent of thunder pill that Zhao Tianba always uses?" Su Cha-Cha's crying stopped instantly. A flash of extreme terror crossed her eyes. She instinctively tried to pull her hand back, but was frozen in place by my look, which seemed casual but felt heavy as a mountain. "Lin Fan, you're lying." Zhao Tianba struggled to get up from the ruins, though his chest was deeply caved in, thanks to his golden core cultivation.
He wasn't dead yet.
He pointed at me and roared, "The sachet was found in your haystack. The evidence is solid, and you still dare to bite back?" I slowly stood up, patted the dust off my butt, and cast my gazed toward the back mountain, at the endless stretch of ancestral graves. "You people, waking me up early is one thing, but you just have to throw dirt on me. Su Cha-Cha, you said you came to bring my pay. Then tell me, how much is my total pay for these 3 years?" Su Cha-Cha was stunned. How could she remember such a small detail? Her eyes darted around for a while, stuttering, 10 low-grade stones a month. Total 360 for 3 years. I laughed until I almost cried. The whole sect knows. I, Lin Fan, shoveled manure for 3 years. And herded pigs for 3 years. The sect stripped me of my outer disciple status. Long ago. Where would I get a salary? And the pay Tiandao sect gives to useless people has always been leftovers mixed with ash. Since when do they give spirit stones? Elder Quanglai's face turned extremely ugly. He turned to look at Suchacha. Suchacha, what is going on? Suchacha was now completely panicked. She originally thought Lin Fan was still that brainless idiot, and she could just make up any excuse. You could make up any excuse and totally destroy him. Didn't expect I'd remember all these little things. He looked to Zhao Tianba for help. Right now, Zhao Tianba's mind was full of killing intent. He didn't even care about anything else. He slammed his chest hard, forced out a mouthful of blood. The broken blade in his hand suddenly gathered wild lightning again. Die, all of you! Zhao Tianba had lost his mind. He was not just trying to kill me. He wanted to cover up this scandal too. The storm of lightning turned into a roaring beast. The whole thatched hut exploded into pieces in a second. Even a few disciples watching nearby got thrown back by the shockwave. I stood in the center of the lightning, not moving. Just as the lightning was about to hit my nose, I gently stretched out a finger, pointed into the air. The lightning, wild enough to destroy everything, suddenly froze like an ice sculpture, not moving at all. The air was freakishly silent. I could even hear Zhao Tianba's heavy breathing. I took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of Zhao Tianba. I stared into his eyes full of fear and despair. I stared into those terrified, hopeless eyes. I whispered in his ear, 10 years of a big dream. I've killed so many god kings. Probably 1,000, at least 800. You little snake are nothing. I slapped him casually. Zhao Tianba spun away like a spinning top. He twirled hundreds of times in the air. And finally, dove headfirst into an empty grave pit. No telling if he's alive or dead. Elder Huanglei finally realized he had messed with the wrong guy. He didn't care about law or honor anymore.
He unleashed all his power.
His late-stage nascent soul aura pressed down like a mountain. Heavy pressure. Lin Fan, you dare hurt your fellow disciples in public. I can't let you leave today. Before he finished talking, the space behind me suddenly shook with force. A golden shadow connecting heaven and earth slowly appeared. It was a huge figure with closed eyes. Looked exactly like me. But that air of commanding all beings proud through the ages made everyone there tremble in their souls. Crazy Thunder Elder's nascent soul pressure in front of it was like a firefly against the full moon. It vanished instantly, like a firefly against the moon. Vanished in a flash. I said, Crazy Thunder, the party at the grave should end now. I looked at him coldly. Don't think I don't know. You're trying to use Suchacha to kill me, just so you can get my chief disciple token. And give your useless grandson the spot. Crazy Thunder Elder was so scared his face turned pale. He couldn't make sense of it. How someone with broken bones everywhere could manage to summon such a legendary divine figure. Right at the critical moment, a streak of light flashed across the sky. And then a cold, frosty energy swept over the scene. Stop. A woman in white, gorgeous but as cold as snow, stepped down riding a flying sword. She didn't even look at the collapsed Suchacha on the ground. Those clear eyes looked at me with confusion and mixed feelings. She was my cool senior sister. Also the current senses of Tiandao sect, Shen Qingsu. Lin Fan, you really recovered. Shen Qingsu's voice was still icy without a hint of warmth. I put away the divine figure, went back to my lazy look.
Casually.
Grabbed a big gourd nearby that hadn't shattered. Took a swig of aged liquor. Thanks to all of you. Bones broken for 3 years. It was pretty peaceful in my dreams. Shen Qingsu frowned a little. She glanced at the badly wounded Zhao Tianba, and at Crazy Thunder Elder who's shaking all over. Then looked at me. Since you recovered your powers, I'll get to the bottom of Suchacha framing you. But your ruthless attack has freaked out the whole sect. Come with me to see the sect leader. Go see the old guy? I waved my hand. No thanks. I need more sleep. Oh, Senior Sister Shen. I've already written the divorce agreement. The divorce letter is in the pile of grass that just got destroyed. Find it yourself. No need to thank me. Shen Qingsu's body suddenly shuddered. She stared hard at me. On her cold face, a flash of anger appeared for the first time ever. Lin Fan, do you hate me that much? Hate you? I laughed, shook my head. Senior sister, you think too highly of yourself. In my eyes, that marriage contract is worth less than the dinner of the big sow in the retail yard. The sow's dinner is more important.
I'm lazy.
Don't like hanging with boring people. After finishing, I ignored Shen Qingsu's angry face and turned to the spirit beast yard. My 3 years as a poop scooper looked rough, but actually, hundreds of spirit pigs and thousands of turtles were my real friends. Ancestral, I'm back! I hadn't even entered the yard, yelled out loud. Next second, the quiet spirit beast yard exploded. Dozens of snow-white spirit pigs rushed out crazily, broke out the fence, and ran around me, rubbing and calling. The old turtle I always used as a pillow dragged its 4 stubby legs and quickly crawled to my feet, poked its head in and out. Lin Fan, stop right there. Shen Qingsu actually chased after me. I stopped walking, turned around, annoyed. Senior sister, you seem too free for a senses. She watched me surrounded by spirit beasts, and something different flickered in her eyes. The sect leader said, if you come back, apologize and admit just now was because of your mind. Apologize. And admit the attack was just due to inner demons. You'll still be chief disciple. Apologize. I scoffed. I slapped the fattest pig's butt. Pig 8, tell senior sister. Who does Lin Fan need to? Apologize too. The fat pig actually seemed to understand me, snorted twice at Shen Qingsu, and even rolled its eyes like a person. Shen Qingsu's face looked totally stunned. She saw these spirit beasts, super proud usually, never paid attention to even core disciples, now being so close to me, finally realized. In these 3 years, the changes in me are way beyond what she imagined. Senior sister Shen, since you won't leave, help me out then. I pointed at the pile of pig poop not cleaned up. Move it to the Zhuanyuan fruit grove at the back hill. I want to put up a pavilion and nap there. You, Shen Qingsu, totally lost it. She was the senses of Demon Sect, the goddess every young man in East Wasteland dreams about. And I actually made her carry pig poop. Lin Fan, don't go too far. She shouted and raised her hand. Lin Fan, don't push your luck. He shouted sharply. The ice crystal sword in his hand began to glow faintly. That's too much. I walked over to him slowly. We're just an inch apart. I can smell a hint of lotus fragrance from him, and he can catch the scent of alcohol on my breath. Senior sister, when my sword bone was taken away, I took that blow to block the demonic bone melting powder for you. Back then, you said, if I became crippled, you would protect me forever. But what happened afterwards? For the sake of cultivating the supreme heartless manual, you didn't just distance yourself from me, you publicly humiliated me on the day I was expelled from the sect, saying I wasn't worthy to stand by your side. Shen Qingsu's eyes suddenly filled with panic.
He instinctively avoided my gaze.
That was to temper your mind. Screw your mind. I cut him off harshly. I'm a simple person. If someone treats me well, I treat them well. For the past 3 years, the only one who visited me daily was Mica, the mute maid from the outer yard. At the mention of Mica's name, Shen Qingsu's expression turned strange. You mean that mute girl? She was taken away by the Supreme Elder 3 days ago. They said they're sending her to Central State, to the Su family for a marriage alliance. My gaze instantly turned cold. The air around me seemed to freeze in that moment. What did you say? Shen Qingsu was startled by my sudden murderous intent. He staggered back in fear. It's the sect's decision. Mica has a special constitution. She can't cultivate immortality. But she's useful to a big family in Central State. Boom. The stone path beneath my feet shattered into countless fragments. Even the gentle spirit beads seemed to feel their master's rage. They all turned restless. Eyes turned red. The old man really lost his mind. I spoke coldly, then turned and strode away. This step didn't just shrink the distance. It tore open the void. By the time Shen Qingsu reacted, I'd already appeared, right inside Demon Sect's Grand Hall. The sect leader and several elders were discussing how to deal with Zhao Tianba being crippled. Seeing me suddenly appear in the hall, Each of them jumped up from their chairs in fright. Lin Fan, how dare you? An elder shouted angrily. I ignored him completely. My gaze locked on.
Ignored him and stared straight.
At the white-bearded old man in the main seat. Old man, where's Mica? The sect leader squinted. He glanced at my shabby clothes and snorted coldly. Lin Fan, you may have recovered. But that's just luck. Going to Central State is Mica's good fortune. It will earn the sect a 9-turn golden pill. You should be happy for her. I let out a wild laugh. My laughter was filled with killing intent and sarcasm. For a useless pill. You sold the little maid who served me for 3 years. I reached out and gently slapped the everlasting jade table in front of the sect leader. With a light tap. Boom! That table, which could withstand a nascent soul cultivator's full blow, instantly turned to flying ash. Even the sect leader behind it was blasted by an irresistible force and sent flying, slamming hard into the dragon pillar. Lin Fan, you... How dare you attack the sect leader? All the elders shouted angrily. They quickly summoned their magic artifacts. Shut up, all of you. I roared. The ancient Dharma form appeared behind me again. This time, when the form opened its eyes. The Dharma form opened its eyes. In that instant, within 100 miles of Tiandao sect, all the birds dropped from the sky. All the beasts knelt in submission. A terrifying pressure from ancient times stunned everyone present. They all let out mournful cries. Old man, you have 3 seconds to tell me where Mica is. Otherwise, after today, there will be no Tiandao sect in Dongguang. The sect leader was scared out of his wits. He knew I wasn't joking. This level has completely surpassed the tribulation stage and touched the legendary threshold. On Luoxia Mountain, the escort team just set out. After hearing that, I wasted no words. Turned and ripped open space with a palm. Lin Fan Shen Qingsu followed in. He was stunned at the devastation in the hall. Frozen on the spot, I glanced back at him. The warmth in my eyes was gone. Your so-called Dao, senior sister, is nothing but weighing pros and cons. But my Dao is those who obey thrive. Those who defy die. After saying that, I stepped into the void. The portal disappeared instantly. 10 miles of red bridal procession at Luoxia Mountain. So grand and majestic. This isn't a wedding escort.
It's clearly a forced delivery.
Dozens of Golden Core disciples surrounded the bridal sedan. Mica sat inside the carriage, her little hand clutching a worn wooden hairpin. I carved it for her 3 years ago. Just as the procession was about to step into the teleportation array, the sky suddenly turned pitch black. A giant palm print crashed down from the heavens, smashing the teleportation array to pieces. The leading elder shouted angrily. I, wearing my ragged gray robe, walked down slowly from the clouds. With each step, a golden lotus bloomed beneath my feet. Lotus blooms with every step. All magic surges beneath me. Young master, Mica poked her head out of the carriage. As soon as she saw me, she burst into tears. I walked up to the sedan, with dozens of Golden Core disciples watching in fear. Gently held Mica's small hand. Silly girl, is your porridge cold? Mica shook her head desperately. Made a sound smiling. Sound. Smiling like a little fool. Lin Fan, the leading elder, recognized me. With a sharp voice. Do you know who you're defying? That's the Su family of Central State. Central State's Su family. I sneered. Flicked my finger lightly. A flash of golden light. That early nascent soul elder didn't even get a chance to react. Turned into a bloody mist instantly. Whoever lays a hand on my people, even if the King of Heaven comes, they'll go down with them. I took Mica's hand. With all the disciples dumbfounded, we walked step by step back to Tiandao sect. All the way, no one dared stop me anymore. Returned to the spirit beast yard. I found a haystack and sat. Mica skillfully cooked porridge for me. Lin Fan, you've caused big trouble. Shen Qingsu showed up again. He looked exhausted. I drank the thin porridge, smacked my lips. Tasted better than the elixirs in my dreams. How big a trouble. I looked at Shen Qingsu. Senior sister, do you think the Su family is so powerful? Shen Qingsu nodded. Central State's Su family has 7 combined stage patriarchs. Home with Merge 7. The old master is here. Merge 7 made me laugh. I turned to ask Old Turtle, Old 6. What do you think of Merge 7? Old Turtle spits out a bubble, totally unimpressed. Yeah, I think it's useless too. I stretch lazily. Camo, don't go to the odd job's house anymore. Just sleep here with me. Camo's face turns red as an apple. He nods hard. Shen Qingsu is just about to speak. Suddenly, clouds swirl above Heaven's Path sect. A booming voice echoes across the sky. Heaven's Path Juniors, hand over the bloodline of the Su clan, or suffer total annihilation. It's here. Shen Qingsu's face changes. I set down my bowl of porridge. I get up slowly and calmly, brush grass off my pants. Nietzsche, stoke the fire for me. The porridge isn't ready yet. I look up at the sky after talking. With a flat tone, I call Old 6. Go up and deliver a message. Tell him to kneel when he talks. Old Turtle lazily floats to the sky. Next moment, a terrifying ancient aura explodes out. That massive Africa in the sky is shattered by a single slap from Old Turtle. Gone in an instant. Africa is crushed under Old Turtle's single slap. Blown to bits right away. That so-called Sioux family expert didn't even get a word out. Just got smashed into the dirt. Kneeling at the spirit beast pen entrance. The whole sect goes dead silent. Even the sect leader hides in the back mountain, afraid to show up. All the elders just play dead. I walk to the gate. Look at that sweating Sioux family pro. Go back and tell your family head. I'm protecting this girl. If he has a problem with it, tell him to come find me himself. Oh, and have him bring some Zhongzhou specialties. It's been ages since my spirit pearls had some good food. That pro wouldn't dare stay longer. He scrambles away as fast as he can. Since that day, no one from Heaven's Path sect dares come to the back hill again. I still nap every day. Nietzsche still cooks porridge daily. Only the pigs at the beast pen are getting wilder and wilder. One day, Shen Qingsu sees me teaching a pig to sword fight. Lin Fen, what are you even doing? He totally can't figure me out now. I'm teaching him how to survive, with style in this harsh world. I mumble lazily. As soon as I finish, that fat pig swings its hoof casually. A huge burst of sword ki shoots into the sky. It just cuts down a whole mountain peak in our sect. Shen Qingsu is completely dumbfounded. Until one day, I spot a new alert on my system. Ding! Host has slept for 1,000,000 hours. Eternal dream. Divine body entering phase 2 awakening. I open my eyes in the morning. I see Camo busy washing my clothes.
Hey Camo.
You should be able to speak now. Next second, Camo's whole body trembles. A holy glow bursts from him. Young master, he spoke. His voice is crisp and pleasant, like a mountain spring. Ding dong. Even he's stunned. So am I. Just then, above the entire east wilderness, a huge crack tears open the sky. An alien aura descends. Hey, searched this long. Turns out you were hiding in this wasteland. A shadow steps out of the rift and locks eyes with Camo. The black crack in the sky is like a giant abyss about to devour everything. Endless chaotic void currents, mixed with a terrifying windstorm. That sweeps across all East Emperor. The clear sky turns pitch dark in a second. That pressure going beyond this world's laws makes everyone in Heaven's Path sect, even the sect leader and the outer disciples, collapse to their knees. Even the spiritual energy inside them freezes under that aura. The shadow walking from the crack gets clearer. It's a young man in a dark golden robe. He floats above ground. Even space around his feet keeps shattering and rebuilding. The young man stares down, eyes cold as ice, like he's looking at ants he could crush any time. He slowly raises his hand, pointing at Camo, who's gripping my sleeve. After all this searching, so you, the runaway vessel, are hiding in the lower realms mud. Really made me work to find you. Those useless Taigu Demon Sect idiots can't even host a sacrifice right. Had to make this divine son come get you myself. The young man's voice isn't loud, but it's deafening to everyone here, like thunder exploding in every mind, with an aura no one can resist. Shen Qingsu struggles to stand up under the pressure. There's blood at the corner of his mouth. He stares at the sky in despair. That's someone from the upper realm. A legendary godson stronger than Return to Void. And beyond true immortal. East Wilderness is done for, facing this apocalyptic oppression. Camo is pale with fear, but still spreads his arms out, protecting me with all he's got. Young master, run.
His newly learned voice
Is still a little awkward, and sounds like he's about to cry, but his eyes stay strong and determined, as if he'd bite any god to protect me, even if it's the gods themselves up there. I look at his weak but stubborn back. My heart feels like it got punched hard. Something hits my softest spot inside. I gently pat his head and pull him behind me. Silly girl, what did I always teach you? If you run into rude barking wild dogs like this, don't be scared, just break their legs. My voice isn't loud, even a bit sleepy like just woke up, but in the silent beast pen, it sounds especially sharp. Up in the sky, that godson hears what I said, and his cold face finally shows. He heard what I said, and his cold face finally shows. A laugh that's pure rage and disbelief. Ants of the lower world, do you even know who you're talking to? I'm the ancient clan successor from the upper realm. You lowly mortals, with filthy blood in your veins, dare sense my divine might? Today I'm taking not just this vessel, but your whole pathetic sect, and wiping you all out. The godson raises his right hand, and power gathers into a ball of jet-black lightning. The destruction it holds makes all the mountains in the sect start shaking like crazy. Feels like they could vanish any second. The sect master and elders are scared to death. All of them kneel and beg for mercy. Divine Son, have mercy. It's all Lin Fan's doing. Has nothing to do with us. Please, Divine Son, spare us. Please let us go. Hearing these cowards whine, I sigh helplessly. With these wimps in the sect, it's no wonder our luck is so bad. I stretch lazily and stare at the show-off from the upper world. The godson slowly spits out 2 words. As I speak, as I unleashed my Yanling power, the mighty celestial sun in the sky suddenly looked terrified. He was shocked to find his godly force, strong enough to destroy everything, now acted like a mouse that saw a cat, and instantly shrank back into his core. It hid there, not daring to move. Right after, an overwhelming rule force pressed straight down on his head. It was a law beyond the upper realm's heaven, beyond the grand dream laws of the universe. Bang, a huge crash echoed out. That celestial sun, who was just as mighty as a god, suddenly dropped like a puppet with its strings cut, falling straight down from miles in the air. He slammed face first into the deepest, muddiest spot of the beast yard. The impact left a human-shaped pit over 10 meters deep. The world-ending thunder that could have wiped out everyone went out with a weak fizzle. Not even a spark was left. The whole place went dead silent. Everyone kept bowing, frozen like statues. They all stared at the pit like they'd seen a ghost. Shen Qingsu's eyes went wide with shock. She even forgot how to breathe. I leisurely walked to the edge of the pit and kicked some broken stones at the rim. Weren't you acting all high and mighty up there just now? Why aren't you talking tough now that you've hit the ground? All you can do is eat dirt now. Down in the pit, the celestial sun was covered in stinky pig manure and mud.
He struggled to lift his head.
And his once proud, handsome face was now twisted like a pretzel. What kind of dark magic did you use? I'm the celestial son of the ancient Upper Realm clan. Insult me, and my clan will tear your soul apart. Listening to his powerless threats, I just found him annoying. So I grabbed a rotten half-sweet potato from Pig 8's food trough nearby and shoved it right into his yapping mouth. The celestial sun rolled his eyes, choking, nearly couldn't catch his breath, and almost died right there, turning to see Pig 8 and Old Turtle still stunned. Pig 8, Old Turtle, I've got a job for you. This kid here is your exclusive poop scooper from now on. If he slacks off, Pig 8, just sit on him with your butt. Old Turtle, smash him with your shell.
Hearing my orders.
Pig 8 happily grunted twice, sauntered over to the pit like he owned the place, and let out a loud pig fart right in the celestial sun's face. At that moment, the once high and mighty sun was done for. Right then, all his pride shattered. His heart felt like it cracked into pieces. 2 lines of tears mixed with mud streamed down. He used to be a noble genius of the upper realm. Now he's fallen so low that a pig from the lower realm sat on him with its butt end of story. I turned and walked back to Camouflage's side. The girl just stood there, staring at me, her eyes still wet with tears. But what just happened was so funny. She couldn't help but want to laugh. If you feel like laughing, just laugh. Holding it in will just age you faster. I reached out and gently pinched her thin cheek, made skinny from malnutrition. She finally couldn't hold it and giggled out loud. But as she laughed, big tears started falling again. She threw herself into my arms and grabbed my waist tight, burying her face in my chest. Young master, young master. She kept calling my name, over and over, laughing and crying. I gently stroked her soft hair and let her be. After she finished her tears, she looked up at me with those bright eyes. But Camouflage still couldn't say a word. She thought she was just a useless servant, only able to watch as others suffered. Hearing her sobbing voice, my nose stung a little. Turns out those nights, when I was writhing in pain, that skinny little maid was hurting and homesick even worse than me. Silly girl. I wiped her face with my sleeve. I'll never leave you again. I'll give you the best in this world, so you can be the happiest girl ever. Nitsai nodded hard. Nitsai doesn't want the best. Nitsai just wants to stay with young master. As we held each other, Shen Qingsu stood not far away, feeling her heart twist inside. She chased after the so-called Great Tao and some empty dream. Suddenly realizing her emotionless path had become a huge joke. Forget emotions? In the end? Shen Qingsu looked down sadly, turned away like a walking corpse. Stumbling out of the dorm, she knew she probably couldn't come back here again. In the days that followed, everything at Heaven Dao Sect changed. The Millennium Snow Lotus and the legendary Ice Heart. I knocked them all down with a kick, annoyed. I left some snacks behind, for Camouflage to make porridge or better meals. As for the rest, I gave all the snacks to Pig 8 as treats. Now, the most powerful force in Heaven Dao Sect isn't the Palace Lord, or the Saints, it's the pack in the Beast Yard. Those inner disciples, even if they see them flying overhead, have to quickly hide away and greet them respectfully as Master, the Celestial Daughter. Walking in the Beast Yard, once hoped to stir up trouble, but soon realized that here, even the slightest mistake automatically triggered the dream law. A few punishments later, she just gave in completely. Now she shovels poop and waters the grass every day. If she's even a bit slow, Old Turtle pops out right away with that rock-hard shell of his. One noon, I'm lying on my recliner sunbathing, when Camouflage brings over a steaming bowl of porridge. Even with no makeup, she could outshine all the fairies in the world. Even without makeup, I'd be loved by every fairy in the world. I took the bowl and drank a big sip. It was fragrant, soft, and tender. Honestly, it's amazing. Nietzsche's cooking keeps getting better. I joked casually. Nietzsche's face instantly turned red, all the way to his neck. He kept his head down and talked for an hour. Right then, the voice of the system echoed in my mind. Ding! Detected the host has completed daily self-care. Dream last. System Phase 3. Awakening dream manifestation unlocked. You can forcefully bring real creatures into the eternal dream space for a reality-crushing attack. Hearing this alert, my eyes lit up. This is awesome. Back in my dreams, I used all those legendary weapons to defeat dragons and Ultramen. All the elixirs are hidden in my dreams. Now I can finally use them. What's even better, I can toss in some trash and totally use the dream's time difference to turn Nietzsche into a scholar. That way, even if I'm not by his side, no one could bully him. Thinking about this, I put down my bowl, grabbed Nietzsche's hand. Come on, let me take you. Nietzsche obediently let me lead him. I focused my thoughts. The dream instantly wrapped us up. Next second, we appeared in my exclusive dream domain. Stars flowed beneath our feet. The sky above was crystal clear. Everywhere was surrounded by, far away from the real world. Master, where are we? It's beautiful. Nietzsche looked around in surprise. Stars sparkled in his eyes. This is my secret base. I smiled and patted his head. Reality is just so boring. So I came here. Up in the sky. Suddenly, a dozen ancient manuals flew by, radiating fiery energy. There was the Heavenly Maiden, and the Grand Supreme Elder, and even the Master of Heaven. Now, like cabbages, I tossed them right in front of Nietzsche. Pick whichever you want and practice it. I'll help you out directly. Staring at these glowing objects, he opened his eyes in wonder. In the dream space, no tiredness, no hunger. I personally taught Nietzsche. One day passed outside, but in the dream. From being a demon child at first, to a sword god later, he formed the legendary 12 nascent souls, and became a 9-heaven god Buddha. After spending 1,000 years in dreams, Nietzsche had stepped into the start of a story that countless cultivators dreamed of, just one step away from becoming a true immortal. And his whole vibe had totally changed. Normally still that sweet, gentle lamb. But when he uses his power, as soon as he does, his aura freezes everything around him. I watched him floating in the stars, surrounded by immense magical power, leaving his spot. All right, that's enough for today. Let's go get some food. I snapped my fingers. The dream space vanished instantly. We were back at the spiritual beast garden. Nietzsche took a deep breath. Thank you, Master. No need for fancy words. Just heat up that bowl of porridge for me. I haven't finished it yet. I smiled and waved my hand. Nietzsche immediately dropped that powerful attitude and became like a cheerful little sparrow, grabbed the bowl and ran to the kitchen. Just as I closed my eyes to nap again, the ground in Demon Sect suddenly started shaking hard. This quake wasn't from underground. It was from high above. The clouds in the sky were torn by something terrifying. Straight from above, the clouds in the sky were ripped apart by a terrifying force. The blue sky turned into a blinding crimson. Wow, it all turned blood red. Thunderous battle cries exploded. Huge bronze warships, as big as mountains, slowly sailed out of the void. On the ships, the flags covered the sky with banners, each one embroidered with someone radiating ancient power. A total of 108 bronze warships blocked out the sun and completely sealed off the eastern sky. Ancient soldiers in heavy armor lined the decks, their deadly aura gathered together. So strong, weaker cultivators in the east literally blew up on the spot. Demon Sect's poor defensive array didn't even last a second. The sect master and elders saw that massive fleet overhead and immediately fainted from fear. The divine son, who was shoveling poop, saw it, got excited and threw away the manure. It's our clan's void fleet. The ancestors are here themselves. Ants of the lower realm, your death is near. Once the ancestors catch you, I'm gonna return all the humiliation. 1,000 times over. I want you eating pig poop every day. The divine son screamed at me, totally losing it. His eyes were full of revenge. Old Turtle was going to smack him, but got spooked by the massive fleet's pressure and shrank back inside his shell, shivering. Pigba was even more scared, hiding and whining behind the hall. Only the banging from the kitchen could be heard. Nietzsche walked out, holding the reheated century egg porridge. He came out, not even glancing at the sky. That dinosaur sword from the lower realm was enough to destroy everything. He just gently set the bowl on the stone table in front of me. Master, your porridge is hot. Careful, it's hot. I picked up the bowl and blew on it. Took a slow sip. Tastes perfect. I put the bowl down, looked up at the sky, at those countless bronze battleships. then listened to the wild shouting. I sighed, stood up from the rocking chair. I was actually in a good mood today. Wanted to kill, but you people from above are just the worst. Interrupting someone's sleep, that's really messed up. I raised my right hand and softly struck. I reach out my right hand, snap my fingers lightly. Dream Law Phase 2. Nightmare sends an invisible ripple, centered on me. It spreads across the whole heavenly lake, those mighty battleships looking unstoppable. The moment they touch the ripple, suddenly lose power altogether. The upper world soldiers on board, a hint of confusion flashes in their eyes. Right after, their bodies start twisting and changing uncontrollably, with terrified screams everywhere. Those high and mighty soldiers, actually, all turn into massive dinosaurs. All 108 gigantic battleships turned into floating giants in the sky. No way, how is this possible? The ecstatic look on God's son's face freezes instantly, turns to extreme fear and despair. The shield and sword his family was proud of, in just 1 second, turned into a mega shadow. I turn to look at Pig Ba hiding behind the shadow. Pig Ba, look, those new brothers up there. They're yours to manage. Anyone dares to disobey, just use your ultimate move. Pig Ba hears me. His eyes light up right away. Not scared at all, he snorts. His eyes sparkle instantly. He's not scared, snorting and shooting up. He flies straight into a giant floating pig pen. Soon in the sky, the sharp cries of pigs echo everywhere. I look at Shengzi, slumped in the manure, terrified. Walk over and pat his face. Don't get excited, good days are ahead. Since your family loves showing off, stay here and shovel manure for me. Just then, the biggest flagship in the sky, which is a terrifying force of resistance, bursts out. A massive golden pig as huge as a mountain, radiating peak immortal energy. A super big golden pig struggles and lets out a human-like angry roar. What demon dares insult my ancient clan? I'll tear you to pieces. That big golden pig is clearly the ancient clan's leader this time. Relying on deep cultivation, barely keeps a little sanity. He burns his bloodline wildly, trying to break the dream. I watch that wild, struggling gorilla in midair, fighting like crazy. Can't help but click my tongue, turn my head to camouflage nearby. Camouflage, go get my butcher knife from the kitchen and prep some sides. Tonight, let's eat well. Roast upper realm golden pig, fresh taste. Camouflage hears me. Her eyes curve into pretty crescents. She answers crisply, yes, young master. Watching her happily run into the kitchen, then looking at those desperate 5-element swords in the sky. I stretch and yawn, satisfied. Cultivating immortality shouldn't always be fighting and killing. Raising pigs, drinking porridge. That's my ideal lifestyle. I settle back onto the rocking chair, eyes half closed, enjoying the peace after the rain. As for that angry tigress cursing up in the air, I'm thinking whether braised or grilled is better, or charcoal roasted. A gentle breeze blows by. The spirit beast garden is full of joy, and the entire eastern cultivation world had their worldview shattered today. Camouflage soon runs out from the kitchen, carrying the iron knife we usually use to cut veggies for Mingju, the blade still gleaming sharply. Her other hand holds a big porcelain bowl, full of finely chopped scallions and garlic. Washed scallion and garlic bits plus sauce. Young master, knife's here. Nietzsche sets the items gently on the stone table, and even hands me a towel thoughtfully. I take it and casually wipe my hands, looking up to the sky. That giant golden pillar, still cursing and struggling. Can't help but laugh out loud. These upper realm ancestors are hard to kill. Even after Dream Law forcibly changed their life form, they still have their original cultivation aura.
I pick up the iron cleaver.
Weigh it in my hand. Test it twice. Then look up and shout to the sky. Hey, gold and shiny fatty up there. Are you coming down to wash up for roasting? Or should I come up and slice you into bacon? The huge golden pig in the sky hears me, and its golden bristles stand up in anger. Every hair looks like a golden needle. How dare you? I am the 3rd-generation ancestor of the ancient upper realm family. If you lower realm ant dare touch even one hair, my clan will summon divine lightning from the 9 heavens and wipe out your whole world. I helplessly dig at my ear. I helplessly scratch my ear. Turned to Nietzsche. How is this old guy like that swordsman's soul? Losing and starts bragging about background. Are all you upper realm folks like this? Nietzsche holds his left side, eyes full of admiration and affection for me. You're right, young master. They only know how to spin endlessly. I nod, grip the knife in my right hand, and casually swing at the sky. Dream return. Phase 3. Dream arrives, devour a cauldron. An invisible blade flash, too fast to see. Shoots straight up. No earth-shaking sound. No sign of space shattering. That blade is like a light breeze. Softly brushes across the sky. That huge golden. The tiger that was roaring moments ago. Suddenly stops making noise. That mountain-sized body freezes in midair. Then, everyone looks stunned, like seeing a ghost. That golden pig's body surface suddenly bursts with beautiful rune light. Once unbreakable skin and needle-like bristles, now start shedding dirt and hair on their own. Then it rolls by itself in the air. Suddenly, a blue flame appears in the sky, wrapping the giant pig body perfectly. Crackling, roasting sounds fill the clouds. Golden fat drips from the roasted pig, landing below in the air. It turns into a rain of spirit energy everywhere. Each drop contains pure, true, immortal law. No way, how is this possible? Shenzi manure picker watches this. His knees give out. He kneels down on the spot, covered in poop and pee. He doesn't even notice. He stares wide-eyed, watching his unbeatable ancestor, getting roasted like suckling pig in the sky. His Tao heart isn't just shattered. It's crushed into powder. All elders and disciples of Tiandao sect were scared out of their minds originally.
Now,
They're all drawn in by the rich aroma in the air, drooling at the smell of meat. That's true, immortal grade meat. Top-tier barbecue. Just a whiff of the aroma was enough for several disciples stuck at Foundation Realm for years to break through right there and reach Golden Core. Elder Quanglai was even moved to tears. He took a deep breath of the meaty scent, and the nascent soul in him, dormant for hundreds of years, suddenly showed signs of ascending to deity transformation. My junior Lin Fan is truly a legend. I turned my head and waved at everyone from Heavenly Tao sect, still kneeling and stunned, signaling to them, that old man, get your people and set up the bowls and chopsticks. Today I'm treating the whole sect to barbecue from the upper realm. If we can't finish, pack the leftovers for Lingju for a late-night snack. The sect master and a group of elders hearing this were so touched they almost knelt to thank me. All of them no longer looked proud or distant at all. They were like refugees who hadn't eaten for 3 days, pulling all sorts of magical items out of their bags, lining up at the entrance with pots and pans, eyes shining. I snapped my fingers. The dream fire in the sky vanished instantly. The giant beast, now roasted crispy outside and juicy inside, with glistening, golden skin, was slowly lowered by some unseen force, landing softly, right in the plaza beneath retail clouds. The system, as thoughtful as ever, dropped a notification in my mind. Ding! Barbecue in progress detected, granting a legendary seasoning gift pack, including eternal cumin powder, galactic chili flakes, and celestial secret sauce. I focused my mind, and holy, glowing spices appeared out of thin air. I grabbed a handful of eternal cumin powder and sprinkled it evenly over the mountain-like meat. In that moment, an indescribable, heavenly aroma erupted like a nuclear blast, sweeping right across the whole east. Countless reclusive old monsters couldn't resist and broke out of their hidden cultivation, following the wind, drooling nonstop. All coming this way. I cut off the juiciest piece, placed it on a plate made of spirit energy, topped with scallions, minced garlic, and the secret sauce, and served it straight to Camo myself. Come on, taste young master's cooking. This meat is super nourishing. Eat more. It'll help you steady your breakthrough. Camo took the plate, blushing, picked up a small bite with her chopsticks and put it in her mouth. And it melted instantly, bursting with flavor as she put it in her mouth. It just melted away. Rich immortal spirit essence rushed through her whole body. She squinted, blissful. Young master's barbecue is the tastiest thing ever. Seeing her so happy, I felt a sense of achievement like never before. Turns out, being a cook is better than being a killing god. Then I turned around, facing everyone else from Heavenly Tao Sect, eyes glowing green, and waved grandly. No more drooling. Come get your own slice. 1 bite per person only. Too much, and you might explode. As soon as I finished, the princess rushed forward first and used her premium magic sword to carefully slice off a strand of meat. And as soon as she put it in her mouth, she was like thunderstruck. Her whole body shone with a blinding light. The bottleneck she struggled with for ages was just gone easy as pie. Thank you, Ancestor Lin Fan, for this blessing. The sect master fell to his knees, bowing 3 times with tears. And his tears wouldn't stop. Everyone else went even crazier seeing this. The whole spirit beast garden became a wild party like never before. Old Turtle and Pig 8 also got in on the wildest feast ever, snagging big bones for themselves too, munching away, grease all over their mouths. Only the young lord from the upper realm was frozen in place by my grand dream law, forced to watch everyone eat his ancestors' meat. That kind of mental torture is 1,000 times crueler than just killing him.
As night fell,
After the party, all the elders and disciples from Heavenly Tao Sect. Only the campus was left. Lit by the beautiful glow of the bonfire. Camo suddenly whispered, "Young master, what's wrong?" "Ate too much. Can't sleep." I smiled and patted her soft hair. Camo shook her head. She looked up at me, eyes shining. "You're so strong now. You can beat true immortals from Upper Realm with no problem. Will you leave here someday?" Even if she's a top expert now, in front of me, she always be that anxious little girl. I reached out and gently flicked her forehead. Why go to the upper world? People up there are all nuts. All they do is fight and scheme, always plotting against each other. None of that sunshine in this garden. Besides, wherever you are, I'll be there too. In this world, nothing can ever take you away from me. Even heavens will can't. When she heard me, Camo's eyes turned red immediately. She buried her face in my chest, soaking my clothes with her tears. "Young master, you really care for me." I don't even know how to hold her, so I just picked her up, sat her down on my bed, and put my arms around her slim waist. "Silly girl, I told you, you're meant to be the happiest woman in the world. I don't need you to hold me. Just stay by my side and smile every day. That's the best gift for me." The next morning, before I even woke up, the whole world suddenly went dead silent. Even the tiniest sounds in the air. It was coming from somewhere far away. I stepped out of the hut and looked up at the sky. The blue sky was gone. All there was chaos. Deep in the clouds, a massive, indescribable form was glaring down coldly at us. That was a true storm. The will of heaven from the upper realm warning us. Because yesterday I casually and made massive changes. Trying to reflect on the mirror. The eye of heaven blinked. A beam held the twin creation eyes. Deep inside those eyes, mountains turned to dust. Rivers dried in an instant. The freshly rebuilt Tiandao sect buildings were wiped out again. The sect master and elders did not even have time to scream. Crushed by the inner rules, pinned hard to the ground, bleeding from all their orifices, Li Tsai ran out of the house. She burst out with peak power. But against the whole universe, his strength was like a candle in the wind, snuffed out instantly. In one moment, a cold, emotionless, unbelievably powerful voice exploded in everyone's minds. It wasn't human language, but a resonance of the universe's laws. Then Heaven's Eye locked its gaze firmly. especially on Mica. In heaven's darkness, he should have been buried here a month ago. But now he's not just alive, he has his own world. This completely defies fate's plan. That golden divine lightning formed, with irresistible force, struck straight at Mica. Heaven wants to fix this mistake. I stand out for Mica. Young Master Mica watches as he tries to tear apart with his frail body. Just like how he worked so hard back then to protect his beliefs, no matter how strong he got. Seeing this scene, the anger deep inside me broke loose. A wild rage I can't describe immediately drowned my reason. Screw you! I roared to the sky. My jet black hair turned silver in an instant. My eyes became deep stars. I'm gonna break your eternal dream today, the ultimate act. Raise the sword of an endless dream. The host forces activation. The line between dream and reality is shattered. From now on, wherever the host stands, I place Nita right up front, facing the power strong enough to destroy galaxies. I didn't even bother looking at it, just casually reached out with my right hand, lightly grabbed the air. Snap, that unstoppable symbol of the universe's peak. Barely 3 inches from my palm, shattered like fragile glass. Now it must be packed with endless power. Gentle like a mirror or water. I put my right foot in the air. The whole world felt like someone pressed pause. Right after, a huge unimaginable law surged up, reversing like a tsunami. It grabbed that lofty eye of heaven, snatched it away. The scene changed instantly. Me and Mica appeared in a boundless blank space. Ahead of us, heaven, once unbeatable, now shrunk to a basketball-sized form. Yes, just a wood carving that fits perfectly. I snapped my fingers. A ruler ring appeared in my hand. I slowly walked to the golden orb, tapped its shell with the ring. It made crisp popping sounds. All right, let's reason it out. You're heaven's noble authority here. The golden orb struggled like crazy, making a buzzing protest with its rules. But I'm the absolute god in this dream space. Those heaven laws here ain't worth squat. Protests mean nothing. I grabbed the ruler and smacked the orb hard. Crack, a sharp echo. A clear red mark appeared on its surface. That vast cosmic will let out a sound like a human wail. Mica stared, speechless. He never expected that lofty, fate-ruling heaven would look like a scolded school kid now, getting punished by his own young master. What happened to the world? Why do good people suffer while bad ones sit on top? How do you even do your job, heaven? Slacking off and oversleeping? I cursed nonstop and kept smacking the orb with the ruler. My swings left afterimages. The heaven orb shook with wild golden flashes. Its round body ended up full of dents. Finally, heaven's will collapsed. He dropped all pride and dignity, started flashing signals begging for mercy. Even in the void, he formed twisted golden words. Boss, I was wrong. Stop. If you keep hitting me, the universe will reboot. I read those words, sneered coolly. Put down the ring. Admitting mistakes makes you a decent heaven. Now that you admit it, it's time for punishment. I'm gonna rewrite this world's logic. Any objections? The golden orb bounced up and down desperately, saying it has absolutely no objections. Even opened up all rule permissions.
Task modified.
I nodded with satisfaction, turned to Mica. Girls, come here. Mica obediently walked over, staring at the heaven orb, trembling with fear. The trembling sphere of heavenly Tao had curious eyes. Young master, what should we change? I smiled and reached out my hand, summoned a massive virtual keyboard in the air. It felt just like coding. Of course, let's shape this world however we like. My fingers flew, typing crazily on the virtual keyboard. First, remove all sacrificial cultivation methods. Anyone who uses our people for cultivation will get struck by lightning instantly. Second, raise the spiritual energy in the east, so everyone has a shot at becoming a saint.
Third,
Rename the Beast Garden to Eternal Dream Immortal Palace. As the supreme sacred location of this universe, Heavenly Dao must be fourth. And this is the most important step. I turned to look into my Zai's eyes. My gaze turned incredibly gentle. Fourth, Heavenly Dao will witness Lin Fan and my Zai's eternal bond. No more endless cycles of fate. After typing the last line, I slammed the enter key. Boom, the moment I finished, that golden orb burst into an explosion of light never seen before. Then the orb faded away and scattered into countless fragments, transformed into endless rays of law, breaking out of the dream realm and back to the real world. When we got back to the beast camp, everything had changed dramatically. Once ruined land sprang back to life. Deadwood revived everywhere. 100 flowers bloomed. The east's aura was now hundreds or thousands of times richer. Colorful, auspicious light filled the sky. Faint immortal melodies echoed all around. The Tiandao sect all got up from the ground, staring in shock at how they had changed. Everyone's potential had soared out of nowhere, and the whole beast camp started rising up, turning into a palace floating in the clouds. Emitting endless primordial purple energy, Old Turtle grew a Xuanwo shell on his back, and truly became one of the 4 divine beasts. Pig 8 even got a pair of golden wings, and turned into a mighty flying divine boar. Everything became so amazing. Right at that moment, a cool figure arrived, riding a flying sword, landing in the square of the immortal palace. Yao Guang landed right on the immortal palace square. It was Empress Yao Guang. He looked at the miraculous sight before him, his eyes full of shock and awe. Lin Fan, you really did it. You turned this place into the legendary primordial immortal realm. He came up to me, lowered his proud head a bit. On behalf of the whole world, I thank you, Dream Immortal Lord. I waved my hand, cut him off impatiently. Enough with that fake ceremony. I only rewrote the world, so my wife can make me porridge in peace after this. What's it got to do with saving everyone? Empress Yao Guang smiled bitterly. She knew what I'm like, and didn't say more. She just glanced at the beautiful girl snuggled close to me, a quick look of envy and sadness in her eyes. All right, since you're here, help me out. Suddenly, I remembered something, wrapped an arm around my Zai's shoulder, smiled brightly. Deliver wedding invites to all the sects for me. On the 8th of next month, I'm hosting my dual cultivation ceremony at Eternal Dream Immortal Palace. I want every cultivator to drink at my and my Zai's wedding. Empress Yao Guang trembled, then took a deep breath, trying hard to keep her tone calm. Your will, Yao Guang obeys. I'll make it grand, real grand. That whole month after, all of the East, even cultivators from the Central State and Upper World were wild with excitement. The news of the Dream Immortal Lord's wedding spread like wildfire, echoing through every realm in existence. Nobody dared refuse. Even those old ancient sleepwalkers crawled right out of their graves, bringing legendary treasures from their collection, lined up at Eternal Dream Immortal Palace. On the 8th day, the Immortal Palace was decked out with lights and banners, festive and joyous. A variety of auspicious beasts flew through the sky. Daolaws rained down like petals, fluttering everywhere. All the spirit pearls and turtles from the beast garden. With my power, I turned into kids in joyous red clothes, walking through the crowd, handing out wedding candies made of top-grade elixirs. The sect master and elder Quanglai ran all over, acted as doormen, sweating buckets, but smiles on their faces brighter than anyone. After all, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to connect with the great powers of the realms. Even that once arrogant son of heaven now wore a neat silk outfit, pouring wine at tables, respectfully. After a month of soul-searching and pig-shit lessons, he was finally enlightened. He felt serving at the Immortal Lord's wedding was the greatest blessing of his life. The lucky hour of the ceremony arrived. A bell echoed to the heavens. I wore a dark gold dragon embroidered shoe, standing on a jade platform carved from 10,000-year-old warm jade, looking at the phoenix-crowned beauty at the end of the hall, held by Empress Yao Guang. She walked step by step down the red carpet towards me. In that moment, she was beyond gorgeous. So beautiful, she put the stars to shame. With her head lowered, I couldn't see her face, but I could feel. She stopped right before me. I gently took her hand. Those hands, once covered in frostbite and scars, are now smooth as jade. I turned with her. I turned with him, facing the massive audience. From every world across the realms. I skipped all the formalities, simply raised my cup, and loudly declared, from now on, Nitsai is my wife, Lane Fan's wife. Whoever dares upset her, I'll make their whole world upset. I'll drain this cup. Everyone, drink as you please. With that, I finished my drink. All the powerful guests shuddered, hurried to raise their cups, and down their drinks in sync, saying we wouldn't dare. We wouldn't dare. Blessings to the immortal Lord and his wife. After the formalities, the wedding night at last arrived. Wind stirred in a deep corner of the immortal palace. Red candles flickered. Rare scents filled the air. I sat by the bed, gently lifted my Zai's red veil with a jade ruyi. He smiled shyly, looking down, face blushing like a ripe grape, long eyelashes trembling, hands fidgeting with his clothes. Young master, just as he started, I gently put a finger to his lips. Still calling me young master? Time to change that. I teased my Zai as his face got redder. I grinned and teased him. Nitsai's face turned even redder. He took a deep breath, gathered all his courage, looked into my eyes, voice barely above a whisper, but full of deep emotion. Husband, that one word melted my heart. My whole body felt light as a feather. I pulled him close to me, looking into those autumn water eyes, and said softly, wife, it's late, let's sleep. Nitsai closed his eyes, shyly wrapped his arms around me, and nodded slightly. The red candles went out. Spring night was endless. Outside the window, Old Turtle and Pig 8 were playing with baby beasts. With a wave of my hand, used the space law to send them far, far away, to dig up mud in the wilds. A dream for the ages. I slept for 10 whole years, slayed gods and demons, reshaped the world, but only today. Did this dream finally feel perfect? Because at the end of this dream, the one I love most is here with me, safe and peaceful together, year after year.